And yes, you are not seeing double. Welcome to OSN Versage. Zach McGibbon with you. We are live. The Ashton Palatial Estates are still standing. And I can't believe it. I'm shocked that they are still standing. But they are. This ain't Florida anymore, pal. Zach McGibbon, how the hell are you?
I'm doing pretty good, Mr. Versage. Was anything left untouched in the Palatial Estates? Did it come back exactly how you envisioned it when you came back to the Palatial Estates?
No. But you know what?
How close to perfect did
all in all, I can't complain. Not so bad. There were certainly some people in and out of here, but they were also looking after the place and making sure that there were some people here in the Palatial Estates. Yeah, I mean, some of it good, some of it bad, Zach, but all in all, the place is still standing. I'm not going to crap on my friends in the first minute. But there was some good stuff. Le Champion was over here not once, but twice. You know what? Cutting the lawn and making sure things were happening. So that was good for Le Champion to be able to do that. I got in last night at what time did I get in, Zach? 9:30.
You were telling me that you were planning to get back in 9 or 10. So
yeah, I think it was about 9 o'clock last night. And that was, look, I drove to Florida and it was, I want to say yesterday, but the days all blend together. It was Friday at noon, and I'm like, you know what? See you, Uncle Rick. See you, Aunt Linda. Getting on the road. I wanted to give myself a chance. I'm mad already because I was possibly going to go to the NASCAR race in New Hampshire, which in fact is going on right now. And we can't watch it. Just not on television, which makes me think I should have gone. But
no, instead you're sitting here broadcasting with me. What can't ask for anything better, I say personally. But
no, listen. I agree, and I heard you and Tanner carry a couple shows. I heard you and Steve carry a couple shows. The REDBLACKS are still and whatever the hell they are. They fired their president.
Yep.
While I was gone. Lots been happening, Zach.
Yes. There's a lot that's happened since you've come back. It's been a lot that's gone. You mentioned the firing of the president there for the Ottawa REDBLACKS, Adrian Ciara. And there was a small part of Steve and I that was like, man, if they win here, he's not going to hear the end of this. Not going to hear the end of this at all.
No,
I also enjoyed too, by the way. You know, we were discussing. We did not see face to face, you know, visually, but we did chat with each other over the phone a couple of times. And I recall when talking about the REDBLACKS stuff, you were like, I don't know if I'm gonna hop on the chat. I don't know. I think I'm gonna just say I'll tune in, I'll listen in, see how you guys are doing, but I think it'll be too late at that point. I'll just be enjoying myself, and I'll say that not even 15 minutes into the post-game show. Who do I see? Why is the This Is OSN YouTube channel that we're live on right now post? Oh, it's because Versage is currently occupied the This Is OSN YouTube channel and has now invaded the chat.
I might have done that in the first game.
Yes.
Enjoying myself in the lanai, by the pool.
How many umbrellas did you end up with in your drink, by the way? I kept doubling it every time I mentioned it, so I ended up with 16.
16.
Yeah.
That was probably low, but that's okay. Oh, look who's here. Le Champion. I just mentioned him. Luna, Christian, and I sitting around the laptop, happy that the Legend made it home safe. Thank goodness we don't have to have Hornswoggle hosting anymore.
I don't remember Hornswoggle hosting those shows. I believe I was hosting those shows.
We got Legend out of this.
Yeah.
Which I now need to make a shirt. I do want to thank, like, some of my friends did a good job, including Le Champion, who was over here, like I said, not once but twice, cutting the lawn. I mean, not easy. The palatial estates, it's palatial, right? And everyone says, "Oh, I'd love cutting lawn. I'd love to cut your lawn because I love cutting the lawn." I'm like, cool, you'll love cutting it for the first 10 minutes, and then you'll be out, and you'll realize you still have like 90 minutes to go.
I have been at the palatial estates. I've seen the lawn. It's a luxurious lawn. Let's make it very clear.
Yeah,
a lot of lawn to work with, though. That's the thing.
Yeah, no, it's great, but there are some dips. There are some undulation. Like there's some hills down the back, the water around the house. It's not an easy cut. And Le Champion was over here a couple of times. Now, look, it's all like you ask your friends to do things, and it was good. This isn't like you don't need to compare and contrast, but Luna was over here for a couple nights, keeping me happy, which was nice to have her, the dog, but I was dog sitting. So it's kind of like hey, I dog sat for you, maybe cut the lawn. And I think Le Champion thought he was in for one cut. Whether some of the other people that, thought that they were going to cut it, apparently not. So I think Le Champion did a nice job. It's a little uneven. Couple of grass mounds out there, but
are you one of those guys that's out there with the ruler, like looking at his, oh no, that's not the length. No, you got to do it again. It's got to be this certain length.
So you know me, right? I'm not the most detail-oriented person in the world. Like I'm not OCD. I'm not. There are other people, and probably well more organized than me when it comes to that sort of stuff. I'm just not like that. And I don't want to throw you under the bus. I think you're not like that either. And we get along well that way. Like,
yes. Why do you think we've been doing some form of audio for as long as we have?
Yeah, exactly. Right. So, and everyone's different, and that's cool. Right.
Yep.
So I'm not like that, but I weirdly have become a little bit like that with my lawn specifically. And I don't know what it is. Like, is it the fact that it just takes a lot of effort to do it? And so he's like, WTF to that? Guess I'll have to get Krisha to do it next time.
Oh, well, I'm sure she would be very happy about that.
Woman's touch should be nice around here sometimes, hey? I think Krisha would do a great job. I listen. And he knows I'm kidding because he knows how much I appreciate the fact that he was over twice. It's more of the other people that I'm going to call out that weren't.
Oh, boy. That
might have been staying in the palatial estates that didn't quite make it out there on time.
Mm-hmm.
But, you give some, you take some.
Yep.
He can criticize me and the taking care of, like his dog is alive after a couple days. That's a good thing, right?
It's a big positive. That's a big thumbs up.
Right? And I am a little cranky today only because I've been on the road. Like I left Friday at noon, and I think it was 11 and a half hours, and I got to Roanoke, Virginia, and stayed there, and then like 8 hours probably total by the time I got in the hotel, slept, got up, back on the road, and then another 12 and a half yesterday from Roanoke, Virginia home. It's a lot of time in the car, right? A lot of time to think, a lot of time to listen to other things on OSN, which, by the way, there's a bit of a checklist today that we're going to get to.
Oh, boy.
And that's one of those. And as Chris says, it was those damn walnuts that made the bumps. Yeah. And so I do have a glorious, massive, like, I actually didn't even know how tall it is. It's probably somewhere like 50 to 70 feet, like the big tree in the back. There's only one massive tree, but it's a walnut tree. And some years there are some walnuts that are on. Other years it is full of walnuts. And at points like this, at the end of the summer, it starts to rain down walnuts, and walnuts cover the lawn, and it's becomes increasingly difficult to cut. So I sympathize with Chris, who
had to go over the walnuts.
Had to go over the walnuts.
Yeah. When you sent me the text yesterday saying I've listened to the audio and I've got things to say, my hands were jittery a little bit. I was like, oh man,
yeah.
I thought I was going to enjoy my weekend and get nice weekend after filling in all the shows, wipe my hands and say, all right, here we go. No, here we are. I'm like, all right, this is kind of the way I'm anticipating this right now.
Mhm.
It's kind of like a talent review, but broadcast to the masses, to the public.
That's correct, because we are nothing but transparent here.
That's right.
Right? And sometimes things need to be dealt with in the family.
Yes.
But hey, we're on.
We're here.
That's the way it goes. No, I think you did a fantastic job. A couple of Red Blacks games where, some circumstances going against you and even Steve, and never easy. It wasn't easy necessarily I know poor Steve wasn't feeling great on a couple of nights.
Yeah.
I think he's a little bit afraid of the microphone at this point. Sick.
Yeah.
Maybe it was you. I don't know.
See, I was trying to think maybe it was me. I'm like, Steve, if it's me, first of all, I understand. You're not the first person, won't be the last person.
Yeah.
But just let me know. But no, I thought pregame show he was good, and then it's just something kind of built up after that, and he was battling through though. I'll tell you that.
Even the week before, right? Like, listen, I've been where he was at, and that ain't fun.
No, it's not fun.
No, that is not fun.
It's I've tried to battle through, even with my voice sometimes. Like, no, it's fine. People can know what I'm saying. I'll be fine. And then you go in and you're all raspy like this and trying to read the news. And they're like,
sometimes the rasp
get this guy off.
Can add to a little bit, but when it becomes, I remember broadcasting once in COVID, and unfortunately that was the one time I had COVID. And the boss was like, no, you're going on. Like, I got nobody else.
I remember this. Yeah.
And drove the equipment over to the palatial estates and was like, okay, listen, this is how I am. I could hardly talk.
Yes.
And the complaints that were coming in were endless. Endless. Some people feeling bad for me, but most people like, get off the air. Like, you need to not do this right now.
Yeah.
Like, you're embarrassing yourself. You're not good anyway, let alone now. Like
that one was unnecessary, but
a lot of unnecessary ones for sure. But sometimes you gotta go. Oh, look, James is in. Says, let me help out with Zach's on-air review. He was awesome. I am not biased.
Thank you, Dad.
Yeah. Exactly. No, look, I appreciate the fact, first of all, that when I, wrote into my own show.
Yes. Through the This Is OSN YouTube channel.
Not the second time.
Well, the second time it was the first time I was like, this is smart of Lee, because I can't just click ban on myself.
Exactly.
So he's got free reign.
You can't do that. So the first time was the OSN account.
Yep.
And then the second time was my own account.
Yep.
And then kind of the third time was through a new friend who decided that they were going to text in on behalf of me.
Yes.
Which was also nice.
Yes.
Right? Spreading the word of OSN was excellent. And I mean, sometimes you got to get your message in, and I got my message in 3 different ways on the trip.
Yes. And it was all through the same messaging system too. It was actually quite impressive. I'm like, wow, Lee's finding different ways. Like he's breaking through the systems of his own creation, which is unbelievable.
Right. 3 different ways.
Yes.
I'm going to try and soften the blow here, where I know it's early, but hey, you know what? It's my one day to recover. So right. I stopped at a place, and if anybody is traveling down the US and they're coming back, oh, by the way, the turkeys are back.
Oh, the turkeys are making their way through?
The turkeys are here.
Wow.
Oh, they're pecking at Chris's lawn going, you know what? Or actually, the apple, it's one of those times of the year, right? They call it fall for a reason. The apples are falling from the tree and the walnuts are falling from the tree. So all of the turkeys and sometimes the deer and sometimes the fox, they're all here to eat, really, at the palatial estates. But if you're ever traveling through, like you go down, I always go across the Ogdensburg bridge.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very quiet. Usually not a car, maybe one car that you have to line up behind. So
Right.
it's always very nice. In fact, on the way down, the guy says to me, like, where are you from? Where are you going? Like, I'm going to Palm Bay, Florida. My aunts and uncles. He's like, Palm Bay? Don't you mean Barefoot Bay? And I'm like, no, like, I know Barefoot Bay, just below. It's kind of where they look after the seniors, but well, isn't the guy from Sebastian, which is just below Palm Bay, Florida? That's where he was born. So he knows the whole area, exactly where I'm going, which not many people do. And like, why the hell are you up here in upstate New York in Ogdensburg?
Right.
Born in Sebastian. But when you're coming home, I would recommend for anybody that wants to stop and get some different type of things that they can't get. There's a place called Bear World in Watertown. And man, you get some really, really cool, different drinks and stuff. So I always like to go and just get a variety of things that you're allowed. If you're gone, I think more than 48 hours, you can bring back either 24 beers or a bottle of wine or something like that. So I didn't bring back that many, but I'm going to try, Zach, a Blake's hard cider, salted caramel apple.
Ooh. All right.
Certainly have never had it before.
It's quite the combination there.
Right? This is my type of thing, and I've never had it, and there's no choice of buying singles there.
Yeah.
So
not the first time we've done the live, first taste tests on air.
This is where you're supposed to talk while
I'm just trying to see, like, how does Lee Versage take in the drink here? Like, does he go the wine thing where he's
poker
like swishing
face.
around?
Yeah, little
poker face. I wanted to see if there was going to be a facial reaction, but no, you got the poker face going right now.
I love playing poker. This is quite a good drink.
Oh,
so
right.
I didn't realize that it was a 6.5%. Now it's a small can, so
yeah. It's not like a bottle or whatever, or tall.
No, but some of those tall cans, right, they're almost double in size.
Yeah.
So it just depends on how big the can is, and this is not a big can. But Blake's hard cider, salted caramel apple, has all of those things. You can taste certainly the caramel and the apple, and it is a little bit bitter from the salted caramel. Sometimes the salted caramel stuff, it's like both sweet and salty, and they're trying to get the combination. So for this one, a little bit more on the salty side than the sweet side, but still
solid. If it was out of 10, what would you rate it?
See, I like this. So that's a good question. I would say an 8.
An 8. There you go.
Yeah. Like, I would buy it again.
That's a strong score.
Not the best drink I've ever had. I think you need to leave room, but it's almost that first couple sips. Would I buy this again at some point? Yes, I would. So we're going to try and soften the blow. Now, a couple stories here. As I traveled down the first time, I went, for people who've ever gone to Florida, and usually it's kind of a direct shot, but there's so much traffic in sort of the Washington, Fredericksburg, Virginia. There's so much traffic around there that it becomes a little bit more difficult. And so there is an alternate route. Takes about an hour longer technically, but if you're not in any traffic at that point, what's worth it, right? So on the way down, I did not go that way. And I went sort of around to the Blue Ridge Mountains and got all the way down to just outside Charlotte, North Carolina on the first night. That was good because there's a little traffic just from some road work and stuff.
Yep. Crockett territory.
Yeah, it was. Stayed in Statesville, just outside of Charlotte. And it's about a 14, 15-hour day at least in the car. And there's cool things when you stop and, like, did I go to a Buc-ee's? Yes.
Did you go to Buc-ee's? Yes.
Yes.
You have to make the stop at a Buc-ee's at some
point. You do. Did I get a picture with Bucky? Yes.
Oh, now there we go.
You
Now
are
we're talking here.
right.
Now
Did
we're
I ask
talking.
someone to take a picture, and did I do the Triple H pointing back?
Oh my god!
And
Yes.
and I had to explain to Bucky to do that back to me.
Yeah. Did you? If
Yes,
you were
I did.
posting on social media, you also had to have the captions like "Bucky really set the standard for what it means for convenience." Hashtag goat moments or
Look,
whatever.
I don't know that it's convenient. I'm back and I'm a little ornery today, so I'm gonna just let my vocabulary flow just a little bit more than it usually does.
Yeah.
It's a shit show in there. But it's a fun shit show. There are more gas pumps at this place than you have ever seen in your lifetime. Like, you can't see down the end of the row of the gas pumps. And then the store is just chaos. They got, a few people in the middle, and they're making brisket, and they're screaming about, like, bells are ringing, and as soon as they scream something, then the whole staff screams it in the place. But I will say the bathrooms at the Buc-ee's are like pristine, incredible bathrooms.
Yes.
And if you've ever traveled and you really need to go to the bathroom and you stop at some like 7-Eleven off the highway or whatever, or Circle K or whatever it is, and it's an instant regret, right? It's
Yes.
like, I gotta go to the bathroom. I don't know what to do. I'm going to stop here, and instant regret. Like, it's not a good situation. It's just not.
Yeah. You're looking around like, did somebody get shot in here?
Like,
what's
I
going
just
on?
need to get out of here as quickly as possible. We'll also get to the did somebody get shot part of the trip
Oh,
in a bit.
I just said that as an aside.
Oh, I
so
know
this
you
makes
did,
it
Zach.
interesting.
I know you did. But it's my life. Like, and
Oh,
I
boy.
don't think people factor this in. Okay. I don't think people factor, like, it's the Versage thing going on. Like, it's just a little different with that guy.
It was
Unfortunately.
the question I was going to ask later for another scenario.
Yeah, no,
but,
like, it's just, you can't make things up, man. It's so, but I did get to Statesville. Like, I think I got there at like 10 o'clock. I'd left really early on when I left. I guess it was the previous Thursday. Anyway, and I get in, and the only thing open across is Applebee's. And I'm like, okay, like, I can go into Applebee's. And right away, the girl looks at me and says, "You look tired." Thanks. I am. And so she goes, "Oh, we got these great deals. If you're really hungry, they have a deal at Applebee's that you get an appetizer and 2 mains for $25.
Wow.
Right?
An appetizer and 2 mains.
Yes.
Wow.
I'm like, I don't need that much food, but I kind of want to get it, right? Just,
Well, now it's like, now that you've said it, I'm interested.
but then I'm like, I'm going to pack 2 mains and a appetizer down and then like go right to bed. Like, that's going to be the idea here. Anyways, so she hits me with, "Oh, you're Canadian, I bet." I'm like, "How did you know that?" And the young woman's name is Destiny.
All right.
Right.
That sounds like a waitress name at Applebee's. Yes.
Listen, factually, that was her name.
We're all about transparency, as you mentioned. It's the name.
There's no comment on it.
No,
You can come up with a comment. Everybody else can.
no, I'm just saying it's an observation as well.
So she says, "Well, you should at least get like my favorite drink. It just came out, the Oktoberfest beer." And I'm like, you know what? Sold me right away. So get that. It's good. I'm playing back and forth on whether I get this 2 mains and whatever, but I don't, because it just sounds like too much food. What do? I get 1 appetizer, and then I get, she brings me this dessert because it's going to be like just a few bucks. It's not going to be like the full price. So I'm like, yeah, okay, I can do that. Zach, the bill was like $25. It was like exactly what it would have been if I just got the entire thing.
Wow.
I'm like, why wouldn't I have done this? Even if I just took it in the car for the next day or like something. anything. So anyway, next day, get in the car. Great ride down the rest of the way until I entered the state of Florida. And Zach, that's going to be a theme throughout this show. And yeah, we're going to talk some Red Blacks, and we're going to talk some Sens. We're going to talk a couple of stories. We're going to talk some wrestling, because it's a huge week coming up in the world of professional wrestling. So there's a lot to cover here if you're listening right now, not just my Florida stories. But so I enter into Florida, and it's about 3:00 in the afternoon by the time I get. Once you enter on 95, it's not far to Jacksonville at all. It's 30 miles or whatever it is.
Yep.
You go into Jacksonville, and it's 3:00, so there's a lot of traffic. So it takes you on the bypass instead of going right through downtown. Well, I'm on the bypass. Now I'm in traffic on the bypass. And on the bypass, it has one of those like massive bridges where, you're on the bridge for probably 2 or 3 miles. Well, there's traffic, and all of a sudden the rain starts coming. And when I say the rain, I mean one of the most horrendous storms I've been in a very long time.
Jeez.
There's been no weather issues at all going down until I got there. But where am I parked? Or not parked, but I'm sitting there. I'm not moving. I'm at the top of the bridge. Now the wind and the rain and everything's coming down to the point where I cannot see in front of me. Like, I am looking for another car to just be behind so I can at least gauge the space that's happening. But it's Florida, so there's a couple people on motorcycles, and they're whizzing in and out. I cannot see. I'm also worried that I'm about 100 feet in the air. It was just...
Not scary at all.
No. It was probably the most rain, lightning, wind storm that I've driven through that hasn't been like a snowstorm in 20 years. Like, it was ridiculous. So then I finally do get through it, and I'm like, oh, okay. And I'm meeting my uncle and aunt out with some friends at a band bar, about 3 hours down the road, still to go. I'm kind of tired. Finally get past the storm. I'm like, okay, I can breathe. Accident on I-95.
Oh, of course.
Okay.
It is the I-95. So.
It's brutal. The I-95 is terrible.
Yeah.
So anyway, get down there, see them. It was a little late, but so that was the trip down. I go out one of the first nights, and I have to say, met so there's a store called Total Wine and Spirits, I think. Total Wine and Spirits. Anyway, it's like Costco, but it's like the liquor store times 10.
Right.
They have classrooms at the back for wine teaching, and like literally classes you can take, and a huge cigar side. And like, it's the biggest store of alcohol you have ever seen in your lifetime. And I went out there, and I spilled something on my shirt like an hour before I was going to go. So I had to change my shirt. And I changed it into another one, like this beautiful one, right? Says It's a wrestling thing you wouldn't understand.
Yes. Great.
But I have another one that says, wrestling is real, people are fake.
Which is also true.
Again, exactly. But I spilled something on my shirt, so I changed into the wrestling is real, people are fake shirt before I left. And so then I go to the store, and in one of these aisles, I'm looking at all the different things, and this woman turns around and says, "Oh, I love your shirt." I'm like, "Oh, thanks. I'm a bit of a wrestling, nerd or whatever." And she says to me, and she's with her mom. Her name is Kate. And Kate says, "Oh, and so am I." And I'm like, "Yeah, are you?" You know what I mean? Like, people tell you things and you're like, "Oh yeah, I know hockey. Oh, what's that team in Ottawa again?" Like,
they're called the Senators or something.
Yeah, like it's just, you don't believe. So anyway, especially when it comes to wrestling, I just don't believe people, because it's maybe natural.
Yeah, it's the you know, I think Steve Austin was a wrestler, right? Like you get some of those sort of answers.
Oh,
Like
I
that.
love I used to watch it when Hogan wrestled, or
Yeah.
Stone Cold and The Rock. Are they still around? And
Yeah,
you're
that
like,
stuff. It's like, no, they're not still wrestling 30 years later. No.
but immediately Kate says to me, well, I used to go to CCW shows all the time, and I'm a subscriber to Meltzer, and I had to almost like wean myself off of it because it was becoming too much. Because Meltzer just was way too much, and I like Brian, but and immediately, like,
you're like, oh,
hold the phone here, like, whoa, what's happening? And so, yeah, it was great to meet her.
Yep.
We had a lengthy conversation. Her mom, I'm sure, was thrilled, but we had a lengthy conversation. So one of the next days, I go to, I was checking in on another place. My boss has a place, which is near there too. So I was checking in on that place, and I stopped in at this bar called Squid Lips, and they had music trivia going on.
Okay.
I like music trivia.
You are a trivia guy.
I like, cheap beer, very cheap beer they had. So I sit down, I'm at the bar by myself, and there's groups everywhere, but I'm like, I'm just going to play. Well, of all the groups, I think there were like 12 or 15 groups. You got to come in the top 4, and then the top 4 go up like Jeopardy style, and then you play like a song off or whatever, and
right
until people are eliminated. Well, don't I get up there in the top 4 in the first? There's 3 sections. Don't I get up there in the top 4? So there I am with my buzzer.
Yep.
And I regret to say that I lost the first one on, and it plays right away. So it's kind of like Jeopardy, where if you don't buzz in right away, you're not even going to get a chance to answer.
Right.
And you almost have to process it if your thing comes up in the 2 seconds you have once they tell you that you've buzzed in first. But I would have won on Ray Parker Jr. Ghostbusters, but I was unable to come up with it in the 2 seconds because it just played the first bit of it, and I held my head in shame.
It was like a guess a note sort of deal.
Like, yeah, like they play one note, and by the time that someone has buzzed in, and so I learned that very quickly. Anyways, I thought I was going to win it, but I lost. Head down in shame. Second one of the last questions, you have to put a judging from 0 to 5, like how many points you want to do. And I was unsure of, but I'm like, my gut tells me it's Duran Duran, View to a Kill, but I bet 0. And if I just had to bet 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5, I would have got to the finals.
Oh.
But I bet 0 thinking I could hold my place, and I was unable to hold the place. So then I'm just, I'm downtrodden because I'm right there. I'm on the cusp.
Yeah.
By myself. Young couple from Chattanooga, Tennessee, sitting beside me, in their 20s, maybe early 30s. But I'm like, you can join my team. I'm telling you, not one answer ever. Like nothing going on in there whatsoever.
No.
So
you mean to tell me they were not going to get the Duran Duran answers? Mm-hmm. That's kind of shocking.
So the third one, I end up getting up back to the finals again. So there I am up with my buzzer, and who takes the winning prize? 2 in a row. They played one note. I got Huey Lewis and the News, Power of Love.
Nice.
And then Everything I Do It for You, Bryan Adams.
Wow.
on one note. And here we go. You've won. So I was pretty proud of myself. And so as I'm leaving, there's a couple that are sitting sort of on top at another bar. And they're like, you killed it out there. And the reason they're sitting up there, unfortunately, the woman broke her leg. And so she couldn't get down the ramp to the other bar.
Right.
You killed it. Can we buy you a drink? We'll buy you a drink. Greg and Dre. And they are the best. And this is why I love, like, people crap on the US all the time. But this stuff to me doesn't happen in Canada all that much, where people are just so welcoming down there. They don't don't really care. Like, it's free spirit. And I mean, look, there's lots of things wrong with what's going on down there. There's some things wrong with
Especially
our
right
country.
now. Yeah.
Yeah, but there's some things wrong with our country too. But
Yep.
you know, I try not to talk politics at all. And so they're like, come, we're gonna buy you a drink. But the bar is shutting down, and this is like at 8:45. Like, this is not open late, you know what I mean? Bar's closing at 9, but let's buy a drink and then we'll leave. Okay, sounds good. So I have a drink with Greg and Dre. They're awesome. We go to leave, and I walk outside, and there are 10 cop cars in the parking lot. All of them surrounding my car.
Oh, jeez. Oh, no.
What in the world is happening right now?
Oh, my goodness.
So I walk out, and before I get there, there's some staff that are just sort of hanging out because it doesn't look like they could leave as well. I'm like, what is going on here? And the answer was, don't know. They're arresting somebody, it looks like right now. Somebody pulled a gun.
Oh, jeez.
Somebody else pulled box cutters. There was an altercation. I don't know if they pulled a gun or showed a gun because I was going on the staff. There was not anything fired.
Right. It was more like threatening, like, I've got this.
I
reveal.
actually don't know because I didn't see it and I was going on the staff's word.
Yep.
But there were box cutters on the ground that the police didn't want you to touch. And I wasn't going to say, but guys, excuse me, if you could move those 4 police cars right now.
That's my car over there.
I need to leave. I'm the winner of music trivia. So I literally had to go across kitty corner. There's only one other place that was open, and I had to go sit over there. They were closing at 10, but I had to sit at the bar and like look out the window. It was like waiting for this hellacious rainstorm to pass.
Right.
But I was waiting for all the cops to leave so I could leave. And then the people at the other bar were asking me about it. And, oh, you're from Canada? You probably think this stuff happens all the time. And I'm like, does it? Because I'm in it right now.
Yes.
And it's
not helping right now.
kind of some people's perception of what happens down here. And they're like,
Yes.
no, it's not at all. This has not happened. Like, I can't remember a time. Like, it was so interesting to the bar across the street that the manager and the bartender went over to see what was going on because they were so curious as to what was going on. But anyway, I mean, not too big of a deal, but I was held up for about an hour and a half to get my car because the police were surrounding it because something happened.
Somebody
parking lot.
with box cutters.
And if I just, didn't win the music trivia and didn't meet Greg and Dre, but it was good.
Yep.
And so, yeah, so that happened. You can't make that stuff up. Was back another night. Oh, here's Chris. More people at the bar watching what was going on around Lee's car than a Red Blacks game. Oh. No, I think a lot of people were watching the Red Blacks game. That's why they're angry. But you would think at 0-10 that they wouldn't be, but it appears that they still are. Yeah, so that happened, and then went back. I was there 2 nights later where they had another trivia going on, just a general trivia. And by that time, Zach, I had made friends at the bar, right?
Mm-hmm.
So John, who's running things, and there was like the Mad Hatter from Newfoundland, and he loved the Canadian being on the team. So I had this group of people, like, Kate was there, and then Bill and Maureen were there. And so, but everyone was just so happy about this, the Canadian being a part of it, and they had some younger people. So anyway, it was great. Came second out of like
There you go.
with the group. And would we win more gift certificates back to the bar that I'm never going to go to again?
But a win's a win.
Zach, I'm going to
tell second place.
I'm going to tell you, like I won music trivia, and then my favorite is like, well, the first half of the trivia, it's really easy. So, you're at a big table and like the answer is Stone Cold Steve, and they're yelling it like every table is right there.
Right.
Like, be quiet. But they said that the trivia was easy in the first half. Like, you don't even really have to yell across because like everyone will just know the answer, and the person who's doing the transcribing will write it down.
Yep.
The first question is something about, other than Earth, what planet has the best or the most rainfall that doesn't include this and this? And I'm like, I have no idea. And everyone's just like, oh, obviously it's. So then they're like, well, what do you think it is, Lee? I'm like, yeah, right. What do you think it is? Like, I know what it is. And I'm doing the whole pretend thing, right?
Yep.
But I'm like, if this is the easiest question that's going to happen, like I'm in big trouble. And then they announced the sports category, and you're like, oh, okay, guys, this is why you have me on the team.
Yep. This is what I'm here for.
And then it's some question about 1974 World Championships and from the Olympics in 72 to 74. I'm like, guys, I'm out. Like, like I just don't know. And I've been supporting, like, I'm trying to pump myself up to be like, but when sports comes up, I'm your guy.
Yep.
And then the sports questions come up, and they're just so hard. Like,
yeah. I thought this would be about the NFL.
Okay, so this was the last question. You ready?
Yeah, I am ready.
And you had to put this in order, and you had to put like worth out of 15? No, 10 maybe. Like how sure you were on what it would be. And it would put these 4 lakes in order from biggest to smallest. And I want to see your hand, Zach McGibbon. So again, this is in Florida, right? This is not in Ontario.
Yep.
Lake Superior, Lake Michigan, Lake Huron, and Lake Victoria.
Okay. No Lake Ontario, eh?
No. So you had to put those 4 in order from biggest to smallest, and you can't be wrong. Like, you don't get half points. You either get the question right or you don't get it right. I'm going to tell you that I tried to convince the group that I knew the answer. And I was correct, and they didn't believe me, so we bet 0. And we would have come first if we had bet something.
Right.
But I didn't know many of the questions. This is not to show you how smart I am. I'm just saying I sat there like a dumbass pretty much most of the time, trying to entertain myself with the people and get to know them. But all right, in order from biggest to smallest, Lake Huron, Lake Michigan, Lake Superior, Lake Victoria. And again, you can't look it up. So there's no phones or anything. The Lake Victoria, you got to know where it is and how big it is and all that stuff. All right, go ahead.
Oh, jeez. Lake Huron, Lake Superior, Lake Victoria. What was the 4th lake there? Sorry?
Michigan.
Michigan. I'm going to say, and this is also going to be an indictment of me here, so
okay.
I love that I'd be put on the spot.
But this is what we're transparent on this show.
That's right. Was never the greatest in school. Let's go with Lake Superior 1.
Okay.
Let's go with Lake Michigan 2.
Okay.
Lake Victoria 3, Lake Superior 4, because Superior Lake's not as big of a lake, if I recall.
So you said Superior twice.
Oh, sorry. I meant, so I'll switch it around. I'll have So I'll do what I say first. Lake Huron first. Lake Superior second. I'll stick with Lake Superior second.
Okay.
Lake Michigan third. Lake Victoria fourth. Just to make it easy. I will say I got 0-4 correct, and then we move on.
The game and Price is Right where people pull the lever.
Yes. Very nice.
Yep. Thank you. And it tells you, like, after you switch all the prices, you come back and you see how many you have right.
Yeah.
You have 0.
I figured I had 0. I was like, that doesn't sound right.
So Lake Superior is the biggest lake. That I knew for sure.
Yeah.
Where I didn't necessarily know, Lake Victoria is the biggest lake in Africa.
Okay.
So you have to know that. And then you have to try to figure out where that comes into the other Great Lakes, like, because that's not easy to take one lake from another country. And I knew in my head that Lake Victoria was the biggest lake in Africa. As soon as it was on the list, I'm like, okay, I know it's the biggest. Do I know how big it is in comparison to Michigan or Huron or whatever? No. But I was willing to gamble that Superior was 1 and Lake Victoria was 2, because Lake Victoria, if it was the biggest one in another country, it would have to be in there for a reason.
Right.
And then the reason this group did not listen to me, because they were convinced that Lake Michigan was bigger than Lake Huron. And I was telling them it wasn't. But again, they live in the US.
Yes.
And they think Michigan's really big, and they don't really know the other Great Lakes because they're not in the country, right?
Yep.
So we were going back and forth for a little while on that. And look, there were most of the people at the table much smarter than me. Much smarter than me. So at that point, I was trying to convince them that my answer was correct. And wouldn't you know what it was? So we would have won, but we came second. No cops in the parking lot afterwards.
That's good.
Awesome.
I felt like when you said hands up, I'm like, are we going back to the cops outside here? You know,
yeah.
Like, I was like, oh.
Exactly. But spent some time golfed down there a little bit. Yeah, had a really nice time. Saw family, made some friends, and long way back. But on the long way back, I got to listen to the OSN pre-game and post-game show from the 0-10 game.
Yeah. Most recent one there.
Got to try to understand exactly what happened in Montreal. Apparently it started really well and did not go well after that.
Yep. How many times have you heard that this season?
Yeah. Also got to listen to some Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling reviews. Interesting.
See, this is where I start to tense up. You get a little nervous.
But you were right on the 16 umbrellas.
Good. Excellent.
Yeah. The more umbrellas, the better. In fact, usually when I go to places, I'll ask for a bunch of limes and they'll bring me back like 2. And they're like, is that enough? I'm like, that's not even starting.
We need more limes here.
That's not even starting where you need to be. But yeah, it was hot down there too. Oh my God. It was like, it's just, I don't want to say it's different because I know it's really hot here but it was, in Celsius, it was like 35, feels like 44.
Ooh.
And, it's quite hot, Zach.
Yes. Feel the heat.
All right. So let's talk a little bit about what happened when I was gone. Let's start with the Red Blacks. Adrian Sierra steps down, ? And moved to another spot.
Well, he kind of stayed in a spot in a way because he was already president of the 67s. So he took one title off of his title, but kept another title. So he's still in the organization. All right.
So for the sake of transparency, the first question you always have to ask is, do you believe what they have told you? As a whole, maybe not you specifically, but as a whole, when they tell you things, no matter if it's the Red Blacks, any organization, when they tell you things, do you believe them? I've known Adrian for a long time. I've been around the Ottawa REDBLACKS since they came into the league in 2014. I do have a lot of respect for the people who work there. I would say my first instinct was no, Zach. I did not believe them. You?
I had a little bit of doubt about it, in terms of the way that they outlined it in their press release was that they were going to find one person to kind of fill in that spot. And reading an interview that Mark Gowdy gave to, I believe it was 3 Down Nation, saying they want to find a guy that's 120% into looking over football operations for the Ottawa REDBLACKS.
Mm-hmm.
They wanted to get it done by the end of the calendar year, by 2026. I was like, well, they have to nail this if in terms of trying to get this president of football operations. I don't necessarily like, I'm trying to think of like, I had some doubts about that. Like, how extensive is the search going to be is my big question. Like, are we just going to look internally like we did last time, or are we going to look, are we going to expand out, if you know what I mean? And we being like a third person looking at. So
let's take a step back here.
Sure.
The OSEG group is responsible for, yes, the REDBLACKS, for the 67s. But most of what Mark Gowdy has been doing in the last year or two has been involved in Lansdowne 2.0.
Yep.
For Adrian Sierra, I do think that some of the, I guess like many jobs, some of the jobs get intertwined where it's like, how can you be involved with the president of the REDBLACKS and not be involved with 2.0 because it's all under the same heading? And it's like everybody just needs to do, if you work for the company, whatever the company is doing, and the company is doing 2.0, which is a huge thing, revitalizing Lansdowne again and making all the necessary changes down there. And they're in charge of football and they're in charge of hockey. And they basically have people doing multiple things. With all due respect, it is my opinion that I do not believe that Adrian went to them to say that's enough. But I do think that Adrian is still valuable to the OSEG group because his hands are in a lot of different things as far as 2.0 and the 67s and everything else. And that's good for him and good for OSEG. Like, that doesn't, I'm not offended by that, I guess, as somebody from the outside. I think good for him. And if they needed to make a change, they've tried to say it in the most polite way possible, but they're trying to do something. I mean, they've lost 15 games in a row and have set the present day all-time mark. Yep. Like, come on, man. Like, so I guess my question, first of all, like when I read the release and read everything that was going on, was, did OSEG not think they had a problem at all? And Adrian went to them and was like, guys, look, we got a bit of an issue here. And they're like, what? What is it? And they had no idea that there was even an issue. But Adrian Sierra, the president, went to them and said, look, we got a bit of an issue and maybe I need to step aside. And they were like, oh my God, I can't believe this. But okay, if that's what you say, who would believe that story? Nobody.
Well, especially if the way that the release said was, he reached out to us a few weeks ago that this might be something, but we felt like now is the time, you know, now being after we set the modern day losing streak record, right?
Well, it just makes no sense that they wouldn't be aware that anything was going on and the president went to them.
Yep.
And was like, hey, maybe I need to step aside. That story just does not make sense. And this is what you have to take away all the rest of the crap. Does the story make sense? No. Does it make sense that Adrian Sierra is still valuable within the OSEG organization, whether it's 2.0, the 67s, or anything else, because he's a smart guy? Yeah, that makes sense. But why not just come out and say, we're making a change because we want a new president, but Adrian's going to stay on because he's well involved in some of the other things and he's very valuable still. Don't say that he came to you to make it. Come on, man.
Yeah.
Like, we didn't just wake up yesterday. And if that happened, I'm more embarrassed for the OSEG organization than I should be. Because if that actually happened the way that they're spelling it out, that means Adrian's really smart and the rest of them are like, I just had no idea.
Yeah.
Come on. Doesn't work like that. No matter what you tell people, it does not work like that. So here's my second thing. Tell me exactly whoever the Red Blacks go out and find to be the president of the organization. We're in 120%. We're going to get a football guy. You're saying all of the right things. Tell me what president of football operations worth his salt, even in the least, is going to come in and say, yes, I think I can turn things around. Okay. By the way, we need you to keep Ryan Dinwiddie because we've just signed him to a 3-year contract. We just signed Shawn Burke to a 3-year contract. So 2 more years plus what's going on now.
Yep.
I haven't heard. I would love somebody to ask the question of the autonomy that the president actually has on whether they would keep Shawn Burke, whether they would keep Ryan Dinwiddie. Do they have full autonomy to make the changes necessary because it's their team? I haven't heard the answer to that. And I got a sneaking suspicion because we haven't heard. And I would love to get the answer to this. We haven't heard whether the person coming in has full autonomy to do whatever they want. And maybe it's to keep Ryan Dinwiddie. Maybe it's to keep Shawn Burke. Maybe it's to do anything that they actually want to do. But my gut tells me that that ain't the case. Again, I don't know that. Here's what I do know. I know Ryan Dinwiddie's got 2 more years left on his contract after this and just moved up from Toronto from the head coaching position to take on the head coach and the general manager role here in Ottawa. Why on earth would Ryan Dinwiddie, like if a new president came in and said, you know what, I actually think Ryan Dinwiddie's a good coach, but we're not going to let him be the GM. Why would Ryan Dinwiddie say yes? Why would he? I don't know exactly. Again, I'm not in the room with the numbers and the accountants and what exactly goes on. Do I think that OSEG is willing to spend the money to let Ryan Dinwiddie and Shawn Burke go with 2 more years left on their deals and then bring in somebody like a president that would cost a lot and then have the president hire a new general manager and a new head coach, which is going to cost even more money? Do I think all of that is going to happen under the OSEG watch where they're going to pay 4 years? And this is after this year. This is letting this year run through where they might not win a game. They're going to pay 4 years of people to not work for them. And then they're going to hire a president that's going to be 120% the football guy. And if they do, and that person actually does have full autonomy, it's going to cost them a lot to get that person. Then the president comes in, and then he doesn't have a GM, and he doesn't have a coach, and he doesn't have a vice president of football operations. Plus, what we're not even factoring in is there's a cap. Now, there's not a cap for the front office, but there's a cap for the coach and the head coach. The general manager and the head coach and all the other coaching staff. Mm-hmm. If you just want to clean slate and fire everybody, you're not going to have very much under the cap to go out and hire the people that you want anyway. This is a mess. And so here is the bottom line for me. I have dealt with and respect Mark Gowdy quite a bit. I think he's got a lot on his plate, from 2.0 to overseeing, he's in charge of the president of the Red Blacks and the president of 67s and everything that's happening on the watch. There's a lot going on for him. Why have we not heard from the owners? Why?
We've only gotten some snippets in that press release from Roger Greenberg, but otherwise, yeah, in terms of the actual people on the very tippy top overseeing everything that own the organization, we haven't heard anything from them to media. It's been Mark Gowdy that's just been the representative on that front.
And with all due respect to Mark Gowdy overseeing what's happened in the last 8 years hasn't been all that good. You don't need to check very far to go, it hasn't been great.
Yep.
And even if the ownership came out and said, yes, we believe in Mark Gowdy to make the right decisions, at least, whether you like that or not, at least you know who is in charge. But is Mark Gowdy just fronting for the owners who don't want to talk to the media, but it's the owners making all the decisions? I know the owners personally go out and they have lunch with the coach and they have lunch with the vice president. They know what's going on.
Yep.
They own it.
Well, what do you make then of we were talking about on the post-game show this recently, but there was that article that Don Brennan put out about Jeff Hunt, and would he be interested? Do you think there's any validity to that, or is that just, kind of throwing a name out there? Because that was something that as soon as that article came out, people were discussing it. Of course, we discussed it on the show because that's something that we've heard a lot from Red Blacks fans, of a name that they'd like to see return, considering the success that he had when he was overseeing it, and obviously the way that things ended up in the end. But is there any validity to that in your mind?
I think that's a popular name to throw out from the past, from successes from the early parts of the Red Blacks to the 67s, when he changed things in the late 90s to come in and do all of that stuff. Do I think Jeff Hunt is a football guy? No, I don't. Do I think Jeff Hunt has been around quite a while and understands sometimes what is necessary to put people in place and to take care of some of the things like promotions and game operations and that kind of stuff? Yes. I don't think it's the same Jeff Hunt from the late 90s, if that's fair. And look, nobody loves the glory days of the Red Blacks more than me. I got to cover them and be there for them. And some of the greatest sports memories, 2nd and 25 is probably the greatest sports play that's ever happened in the city limits in Ottawa in history, period. Mm-hmm. I would argue that one play is the greatest single play that's ever happened here in Ottawa. Mm-hmm. But let's remember, they were 2-16. They went out. They got all those receivers. They were 12-6, 2nd and 25. They were going to lose that game. And they lose that game 99 times out of 100, and they don't get to the Grey Cup. But they won, and the greatest play ever. And they lost the Grey Cup. And then the next year won the Grey Cup with their 8-9-1 record that year. but they won a couple games when it counted. And then since, it has not been like that at all. Right? So do I think Jeff Hunt would restore a little bit of faith in the, like, for the fans that are so pissed off right now? Yeah, I do. But I don't know that he is the future of the answer anyway. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
So I think that's hard for me. I just had it somewhere here. Since coming into the CFL, what is the Ottawa REDBLACKS record?
Oh, I don't know the total record. I'm sure it's more losses than wins.
2014, right, is when they came in.
Yep.
They've been in the league for 14 years. $68 wins, 123 losses, and 3 ties. And even if they've been to the Grey Cup 3 times, they have finished above 500 3 times in 14 years. 68 wins, 123 losses. I'm not a mathematician, but if you include the games that they tied that they didn't win, you are coming close to losing twice as many games as you have won in your history.
Yeah.
Not acceptable in a 9-team league. Not acceptable. So yeah, did they have some glory days and some things go right early? Yeah, they did. They also won the Grey Cup when they were 8-9-1. And again, I love those times. They were fun. But when you're at a win percentage of like 35%, that's a lot of losses, man.
It is.
So I guess the question, like, to come back to where we're going, they're going to look by the end of 2026, like they're going to give themselves 4.5 more months to do this. My big question would be, if the person coming in, what kind of responsibility and what do they actually have to work with? Because if you hire someone and they come in and they're supposed to be the face of the team now, but you're like behind the scenes, you can't really tell, like, we're going to keep Ryan Dinwiddie and we're going to keep Shawn Burke, and you're still going to be like, you're still going to take direction from us, the owners, except you're not going to really say that. You're going to have to be the front man for that. And you're still going to take orders from Mark Gowdy, who's overseeing the president of football operations, and Mark Gowdy is listening to the owners who we're not hearing from. This is all backwards, man. Yeah. It's all backwards. And if you think anybody's going to succeed in that spot, and that's why I say no one worth their salt is going to take that position. And you're going to have somebody come in that wants to make a name for themselves or say, I can turn it around, but they're not going to be the best person that you could possibly get, because you're going to sell it like they have full autonomy. But do they? If they want to fire the vice president and fire the GM and fire the coach and get rid of a bunch of players, can they? Do they have to listen to Mark Gowdy? Or are they directly reporting to the owners? And these are all questions, unfortunately, that the Roger Greenbergs and the John Ruddys and the rest of the ownership group should be answering right now. We are the owners, we are taking responsibility, and this is going to be the structure. So everyone knows, so that when you come in to get the right person, you're doing it based off what you think is the best thing long-term for the organization to succeed, and not on the budgetary restraints that have been put in already. Do you know what I mean, Zach? Are you even with us, Zach, at this point? It's possible that Zach might not be here. So, Chris, as Zach is frozen, you know what? Maybe we should I let him try and come back? We'll see. He did freeze. We're going to remove him. He doesn't need to be here anyway, does he? Chris says, unfortunately, they're playing small-time penny counting, much like the QB. They had chances over the years to get one of the many starting quarterbacks, but they didn't offer the money. Money talks. And Zach froze. I thought you were going to say, and he's never looked better. Like something like that, right? I think he's got the ability to just pop back in without me doing anything. But maybe he just needs some time away from me. But the answer is we need to hear from the owners. Because if we do not hear from the owners of the Ottawa REDBLACKS as to exactly what the structure is and exactly what the autonomy of the president is, then how's anybody really going to know at that point? How are they possibly going to know and be able to do a good job? And now, like, this team doesn't even look close to winning a game. Like, are they going to win at home come Sunday? I don't think so. I don't know what that would be based on. Watching some of the highlights and understanding that, like, this team was nowhere close. Zach says he's having a bit of a power surge. And in that, of course, we are live. And right now, the REDBLACKS have made a decision as we're talking about the REDBLACKS. And I'll try and make the banner as I'm here by myself. The REDBLACKS have fired Shawn Burke and announced that this afternoon that Shawn Burke, the vice president of football operations, has been let go. In a release just moments ago, this is a difficult decision because I have a lot of respect for Shawn. Nobody can question how hard he has worked or how much he cares about the REDBLACKS. Shawn has embraced his organization, his community, has given an enormous amount of himself to the job. I'm very grateful to him for that commitment. At the same time, our football results have not been good enough. Ultimately, I have a responsibility to make changes when I believe we need a different approach. I've concluded that a change in our football leadership is necessary. Shawn has been a dedicated member of the REDBLACKS organization over the past 5 years. I want to thank him for his professionalism, hard work, and commitment brought to the role. I wish him and his family the very best. Nice time to leave, Zach. Breaking news with the Ottawa REDBLACKS that they fired Shawn Burke in the middle of all this. Were they listening?
Yes, for some reason they shut off my feed compared to your feed when it came to shutting all this down.
Because I was the one making sense?
I guess. I don't know. So I was coming in, and as I was waiting for my computer to reboot, there was a power surge here. I don't know if it noticed on the thing, but my lights started to flicker around here.
No, you just froze. And as Chris says, we're going to have 20 questions with Le Champion, new segment. Damn, he's back. I was ready for my segment. Yeah, but Shawn Burke was just fired by the Ottawa REDBLACKS. No lights, you just froze. Like you were in that perfect, I'm not going to move. I'm not going to react to Lee by anything that he says. But you did it for a long time. So
yes. No, I'm back. There was a power surge here, so the lights started to flicker. I'm like, oh, this might be a bad omen. And then I came back. And then as I was waiting for the computer to reboot, I just saw the news about Shawn Burke. So what timing in all of this?
Yeah, that we were talking about it right in the middle of it. So
yeah,
I do think that this shows, look, I think Shawn Burke is a hell of a football guy in a football field. And this is where you have to separate it, right? Away from the football field, Shawn Burke's a good man. I have a ton of respect for Shawn Burke. Do the results speak for themselves? Unfortunately, they do. And I do think that this at least shows a bit. I'm going to be a little positive here. And I'm not positive that they fired, like somebody lost their job.
Yep.
You know, Shawn has a family. He has a young child at home. Like, no, not nobody, but not a lot of people respect that part of it. Like, he's got a wife at home. He's got a young family at home. They've moved into the Ottawa area, and life doesn't look like that anymore as of today. But just from the football perspective, in a positive way, this does free up a little bit more of what the new president that we were just talking about, what the new president is going to be able to do, Zach, because they don't necessarily have that. And whether they like Shawn or they didn't like Shawn, they don't have to worry about that. And they can make some of their own decisions when it comes to hiring different people.
Yeah, and that was also going to be something I would touch on too with
OSN. Since you left for a bit, I'm just going to leave for 1 second.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, it's something that you touched on. I always went through the middle of what Lee was saying there, so I'm pretty sure he went through all the release. But something we were talking about before I froze and got knocked off the internet through conspicuous means is that OSEG will be providing a further update on the Red Blacks football operation structure shortly. So I imagine that now that you've got Shawn Burke out of the role, however that's came about, whether it was his decision or the organization said, this is going to be something that we are looking at and we are going to make this decision. However you want to frame it, this was one of the questions that was also brought up on the post-game show is, with the way that the start has been, how are they going to look at the football operations and what will the president of the Red Blacks be able to do? So now I think you kind of have at least a better understanding. You still have to go with a Ryan Dinwiddie at GM and head coach based on the way that the cap is organized. But otherwise, there's at least a little bit more of something being dealt with when it came to the structure going on with the Red Blacks. And just, again, the way that the team has been playing this season, the last couple of years, something really needed to change. And so finally, for a lot of Red Blacks fans in their eyes, and I think if you're somebody that kind of follows the CFL, you're kind of looking from the outside, looking in, something needed to change within the organization to try and get this football structure under control. And it makes it a more appealing destination if you are the president of, okay, now there might be a little bit more of an understanding of what this football structure will be. So I'm interested to see what now this structure, how OSEG is going to approach this from a football structure standpoint. I think it makes it a lot more intriguing if you're somebody, if you're one of the candidates that's looking in, it's like, okay, what control do I have? And what are the operations decisions I can make? Having said that, though, we also know that Ryan Dinwiddie will definitely be there, I would imagine, for at least another year. So yeah, it's interesting that this decision kind of came down now as well on a Sunday afternoon.
I think if you're a Red Blacks fan and you've been begging for change, within a week, they have fired their president and their vice president of football operations. So, again, I think they deserve to be criticized in a lot of different ways for a lot of things. But right now, you have to be fair to them that they've made two major decisions this week in 7 days. I believe it was Monday, right? With Adrian, but I could be wrong.
Monday or Tuesday, but yes.
Regardless, in a short period of time, here in 5 or 6 days, they have fired their president and their vice president of football. Now, the Ryan Dinwiddie thing is interesting because Ryan left again Toronto, right? Because he elevated his position. He went from a coach to a GM head coach dual position. This is one of those things that whoever's coming in now, are you deciding that Ryan Dinwiddie still is a good coach? I don't think you're going to be able to take the GM role away from him. That's why he came here.
Yep.
Why would he just give it up right now? Yeah, they've started 0-10, but a lot of things, he just came to town and he hasn't been responsible for every move that they have done. Why would he give that up? If somebody came to him and said, Ryan, we think you're a great coach, but we're going to need a new GM, why would he say yes? The only reason he would say yes is because he would get the same amount of money to be the coach.
Yeah.
Because I can tell you what ain't happening. Ryan Dinwiddie taking a pay cut.
No, that's not happening.
Because unfortunately, the way things have gone in Ottawa too is I don't think any other club looks at the lack of success in Ottawa as a representation of who these people are. Maybe Shawn Burke, because he's been here for a while. Not Ryan Dinwiddie. He's been here for 10 games.
Yep.
And this team hadn't won a playoff game since 2018. They'd only been in one, and they gave up 58 points. I don't think the perception of what Ryan Dinwiddie is around the CFL is changed from what has happened here this year in Ottawa. So with that comes, if you're Ryan Dinwiddie, do you still want to be on as the GM and the head coach and turn things around? Well, it can't get all that much worse. Whoever's coming in above you is going to have to decide that you are valuable. And again, Dinwiddie's put himself in a decent position because if they fire him, you're going to have to take his salary and it will still count against the cap for the next 2 years. I just can't imagine that being something where you can still bring in every single person that you want. If you want a new separate GM and a new separate coach and you want them to be the best, are you going to have the money to be able to do that? But this, there are so many layers, right?
Yeah.
This then goes to, will the Red Blacks find alternate ways to be able to bring those people in so it doesn't count against the cap? Because if you don't think that other organizations do things like provide housing and provide cars and provide sponsorship opportunities and all kinds of different ways for players to make money that does not appear on the cap, you are fooling only yourself at that point. Is Ottawa willing to do that to bring in other people? But yes, Shawn Burke has been fired by the Ottawa REDBLACKS vice president of football operations. So in the last week, they have, I guess not technically fired, but they have removed the president and the vice president of football operations. The big question to me now is who they bring in for these positions, and do they have to keep Ryan Dinwiddie? That's got to be the biggest question, right?
And if you were to ask me just initial reaction to that, I feel like Ryan Dinwiddie's sticking around and at least another year. Just get one more year. And what you were saying earlier about Dinwiddie is I think around the league, you look at him kind of coming in this situation first 10 games. Obviously, you as a fan, you want him to win some football games, but I think you can make the argument of a lot of this was kind of building up to this moment here with the president and vice president being let go. And a lot of this isn't Dinwiddie's fault if you were looking at just kind of an outside looking in on with this Red Blacks team, and might see it as getting one more year. just to kind of get his full vision of the team. Now, if it starts next year, like let's say Red Blacks go winless or they win a game or 2 games or whatever, and then they start next year and they go winless again for the next few, like that's when you start asking questions of like, okay, what can Dinwiddie do in this position? And he's not giving up his GM role either. So,
well, like I said, the only way he gives up his GM role is possibly somebody comes to him and says, yeah, are you willing to stay? We're going to take away the GM role and have you just focus on coaching, but you're going to make the same money.
Right.
He ain't taking a pay cut.
Yeah.
But again, Zach, I go back to the fans. And what do the fans want to have happen? Do they need a clean slate? Are they willing to give Dinwiddie the chance to prove himself in way different circumstances than under Adrian Sierra and Shawn Burke? So it's an odd question. But we'll take it. We're live. We're transparent.
We're live.
How much is the constant rain impacting attendance? None.
There you go. That's
zero. So 0. Again, I say that in respect of if there's a blinding rainstorm, are there going to be a few less people that go to the game in that one circumstance? Yes.
Yes.
Of course. But no. What's impacting attendance is this team is shitty. Sorry.
Yep.
They're awful.
Yep.
And that's what's impacting attendance. Why would you go and spend your hard-earned money on a team that is not only not very good, but they're not entertaining? They don't do anything well. You feel like they're the joke of the league, but they're not even in the same realm of the other teams in the league. They're not. So until they prove that they are, the fans deserve that. If you're a fan and you're paying your hard-earned money to go on a Friday night or a Sunday night and go down to the stadium, and if you just want to grab a burger and a beer and with your ticket, you're looking at $100 each, and that's not even including the time and the hassle to get down there and all of that stuff. Are you being entertained? Is this like, hey, we lost tonight, but what a hell of a game that was?
Yeah, the atmosphere I was around was great, and blah blah blah. Like, to kind of go on that thought process of what you're mentioning. Now they don't have to deal with this anymore because they've got a new stadium. But if you're the Buffalo Bills and you had all those snow games that impacted you in November, December,
yeah,
like a lot of people probably wouldn't go. But if they were a winning football team going to the playoffs every year, and that stadium, even with some of the extreme winter that had gone through that area, and they still said, yep, we're playing that game, you still had quite a few people in that stadium, if not full. Now, again, the Bills don't have to worry about that anymore with their new stadium, but that's just kind of an example.
If you care about your team and your team is showing that they care about you, the fan, and they've given everything to you back, you can't win every game, but they give you maximum effort. They give you entertainment. They have in-game promotions. People still go through weather to be there. Part of the community. They be there. They're there because everyone else is going to kind of suffer there too, because this is our team. People don't feel like that about the Red Blacks anymore. They haven't won a playoff game in 8 years in a team where 66% of the league makes the playoffs. And the only time they did make the playoffs, they gave up 58 points. This is not a team that has done right by the fans. So it's not the rain.
It's that you can't do the Milli Vanilli, blame it on the rain.
It's good, Zach.
Thank you.
McDursel says, I was on the bike path and heard the Crom back happen. The stadium went wild. Yeah, that was a
fun day.
The Crom back.
Totally unexpected when that happened.
It was. But yeah, I mean, people, they do want to be entertained and they do want to see maximum effort and they want to see competitiveness. Again, you don't have to win all the time, but this team is the modern day losing streak of all time that they're still on right now.
Yes.
Chris says you have a good running back. Dinwiddie is wearing too many hats. Just move him to GM and VP, even if he wants the title now. Got a coach that cares and pushes initiative. I think Dinwiddie still wants to coach.
Yeah.
I think he is a coach. I think he's just a decent talent evaluator, and he hasn't had a chance really to make his mark on the Ottawa REDBLACKS so far.
Yep. And at the same time, do you think, just public perception wise, that, let's say you got the people here that follow the REDBLACKS intently, but if you're somebody that's on the outside looking in and you see the coach of the team that is currently at the longest losing streak in the modern CFL history, do you think it's a good look to move that guy up in the ranks if you're going to make him VP and GM? And I know I just said earlier, like, you keep him another year, see what he's got, but there is going to be that factor of, we already kind of saw this for some, of people kind of moving up on roles despite there not being a lot of winning football. So that's another factor to kind of look at that.
What's looked at is my ability to make a banner that quickly.
I was going to say, I was like, it's probably got a banner up and I was going to come in there, but I saw you were typing away. So good stuff. Very nice.
I mean, you do have access. You do have the ability to do this stuff.
Yes,
no, Zach, don't tell me. Like, do you have the access? Yes or no?
I have access to banners.
Okay.
I don't know if I have the ability to create one. That's the thing.
Yes, you do.
Do I?
Yes.
I might have to look around here. I do have access to the banners. I don't
know.
By
the way, I'm drinking a country lager lemonade. So it's a lager, but it is a full lemon lager from Wachusett Brewing Company in Massachusetts. Anyway, interesting. Not as good as the other one, but probably a 7. Still good. As we sit here and take your comments on Shawn Burke being fired by the Ottawa REDBLACKS as vice president of football operation. The QB story in the preseason isn't good, McDursel says. And then I don't disagree with Chris. Another Zach flop. Figure it out. Horn seat.
You know, Le Champion right now, he's just operating like, to steal a common Gen Z term. He is my biggest op right now. Like, he is just somebody that continues to like throw darts and just poke and prod, finding like any sort of opening to come. I
actually just call it holding you accountable. But I mean, we look at it different ways, right?
Well, I mean, in some cases, yes. In other cases, like when we were down for redemption in Montreal, it's like, oh, we haven't gotten to the arena yet, and he was blaming me for not getting us to the. I'm like, I'm just following. I'm just walking. I'm just walking to the arena. What do you want me to do? So Le Champion has just been on me.
But you're a natural leader, so I guess he just assumes that you take that. That's
a very nice and positive spin on that there, Lee. But he's my biggest op right now. That's okay.
McDursel does say like the quarterback story in preseason isn't good. Yeah. I wouldn't say that. Here's what I would say. Okay, the quarterback story in a nutshell. Drew Brown last year wasn't very good. And then Drew Brown, I don't think, won a lot of his teammates over by the way that he acted during the year when his team was not very good. And when Drew Brown was hurt, I don't think Drew Brown did, this is an opinion, all the things necessary to try to get back. And his teammates noticed. Drew Brown was not a popular figure within the dressing room. And that doesn't matter as much as the on-field play is concerned. But when they went to camp this year and they brought Jake Maier in, and Jake Maier was just as good as Drew Brown, they were like, yeah, why are we going to use this guy? And then Drew Brown, instead of trying to fight for his job, sulked out of town. And I'm not trying to downplay Drew Brown and say that Jake Maier is obviously Jake Maier hasn't won a game.
Yep.
But Drew Brown's still the backup quarterback in Winnipeg. Let's remember that. Okay. They got him. He went to Winnipeg. But when Zach Collaros is back, there is no contest who the first quarterback is. And is Drew Brown a starter on any other team right now? I'm not sure he is. So did they fumble? Or did they just have two quarterbacks that were the 9th best in the league?
Yeah.
And they picked one of them. And if Drew Brown was here, would Drew Brown be 0-10? My guess is yes. This is the type of stuff I'm looking for, Zach. Who cares about Shawn Burke being fired? Rock Art out of Vermont, Summer Ale, best beer I've drank. In the Smuggler's Notch area. I know that Smuggler's Notch is an area in Vermont. See, I like these kind of recommendations.
There you go.
McDursel, I just spent the first hour of this show. Thank God I got my Florida stuff in.
I was going to say, could you imagine that broke right in the middle of the Florida stuff? They timed it perfectly.
Did I walk out to a parking lot with an arrest and a gun pulled and all that after winning music trivia? Yes. But did I get that story in before all this happened? Also, yes.
Yes.
Sorry, my microphone cable came out.
Well, there you go.
People couldn't hear me. And imagine that. They'd have to listen to you.
I know. Well, they already had to do that the last week and a half.
Yeah, I know.
So. I mean, the lights did go out here at one point, so they didn't have to listen to me for about the 5 minutes I was trying to scramble around, be like, "Oh, damn, power surge knocked me out." You know.
Once again, the quote from CEO of OSEG, Mark Gowdy, says, "This is a difficult decision because I have a lot of respect for Shawn. Nobody can question how hard he has worked, how much he cares about the Red Blacks. Shawn has embraced this organization and this community, has given an enormous amount of himself to the job. I'm very grateful to him for that commitment. At the same time, our football results have not been good enough. Ultimately, I have a responsibility to make changes when I believe we need a different approach, and I've concluded that a change in our football leadership is necessary." But it was Adrian's idea to step away as president 5 days ago. Okay.
Yeah. Maybe he was listening to us. Is like, all right, make sure you get that in the press release. That way.
Like, come on. Ultimately, it's your decision. Okay. Should it be? I'm not sure. I think the owner should be stepping up and have it be their decision. But okay. The president came to you and said, I don't think it's the right time. But then you decided it was the right time to fire the vice president.
Yeah.
5-6 days later. That doesn't make chronological sense to me, Zach.
Yeah.
It just doesn't. But I think, again, on a positive note for the Red Blacks fans, you have asked for change. You have told people and told people and told people that the status quo obviously is not good enough. And they have relieved the president and the vice president of their jobs this week. The very first question that should be asked to Mark Gowdy is, for the people coming in, do they have a decision to make on Ryan Dinwiddie or not? Is Ryan Dinwiddie going to continue to be the head coach and the general manager of this team? And if you're coming into this position, do you have to accept that if you want to be the president and you want to be the vice president? I'm assuming the president gets to hire the vice president. I don't know. I'd like to know that, but
yep.
Don't always assume, folks. It doesn't.
Yep.
It doesn't always.
What they say about people that assume.
Yeah, I know.
That.
It doesn't always go well.
Yep.
I am glad that they're doing it now as they do have a week, right, before the next game. It's next Sunday night. Same day as All In, by the way. Which
Yep.
Chris says, do they get a fired president bump like a coach firing in the NHL and get a win at home over BC next Sunday? Speaking of BC, they're up in an hour. Let's go Rough Riders. See, Zach, that's how. You know what? He kind of got his stuff in there without being like, I told him before, like, this ain't a Rough Riders show. So we're not gonna get that, but he kind of got it in at the end because they are up in an hour against BC, which is Ottawa's next opponent. Like, it's pretty smooth from him. McDursel wants to know what the Northside Reno do to roster till it's done. What does that mean?
I don't want to speak too much for him. I think he might be asking if, with the renovations going on, will that impact trying to get like the players you want on the roster? I might might want some clarification from that McDursey, but I think that's what he's asking. Well, maybe just in terms of finances, just in terms of finances and whatnot, as Lansdowne 2.0 continues on.
Oh, by the way, McDursel says, can they run a dog for a few years? So I don't really know where this is going.
Yeah.
But no, serious question was in there about the fired bump. No, Chris. The answer is absolutely no bump.
No.
To be honest, none of the players give a crap. They come in, they've lost 10 in a row, and they have a guy that they answer to that can cut them at any time, and that is the coach and the general manager, Ryan Dinwiddie. After that, they're probably like, figure it out, man. And I don't think they give one crap. I mean, obviously they do long-term within the organization, but how many people, if you're a player right now, think that you're going to be here in 2 or 3 years anyway? You're 0-10, man. Like,
yep.
If the president and the vice president can get fired at this point, don't you think everyone is on notice? I just have a quick comment after we get to McDursel's. Half the seats. Yeah, they're going to put some temporary stands up. I don't think it's going to be a big deal. From the players' point of view, it's not a big deal at all. I do have one question, and this is just out of the Getman. How the hell is he still on this team?
Yep. That's also what I'm thinking too.
I'm just asking.
Yeah.
Same guy that couldn't tackle a paper bag. Same guy that's dropped snaps, tried to pick it up, get stripped of the ball. There was another play where he didn't tackle very well.
Yep.
Like, what's happening here with him? Just a question.
Yeah. Feel like it's one too many times at this point.
So if you're a Red Blacks fan and you're listening, like, what do you want to see happen? To me, the biggest question is, they can tell you that they're going to bring in somebody and they'll have full autonomy and they're going to get the best candidate. But still, after the firing of Shawn Burke this afternoon, do they have the power to do something with Ryan Dinwiddie or not? And do they have the budget? Does the president have the budget to bring in a new vice president? Anybody he wants? Like, do they have full autonomy? Decision-making power. Do they have it fully and completely?
Very nice.
See what I did there, Zach?
That's good.
Especially with all the tragically hip stuff and
yep.
the 10 years.
Did you get a chance to see that CBC special yesterday? Or
I didn't. I'm going to, though.
I wasn't able to either, but I heard a lot of good stuff about it.
Yeah, so I'm going to. I can tell you that when people, sometimes when you're, when you're people asking concerts. And just so you can say, our buddy Steve McKenzie giving me a call. Should I pick it up? I'm gonna pick it up.
Tell him we're live.
Hey, it's transparency. Steve McKenzie, you're live on the air with Zach McGibbon and Lee Versage.
You're gonna be on the air today?
Yeah. Okay. Well, this is OSN.com. You can the YouTube page. It works.
I'm at the ballpark right now, so I'm doing double duty.
Oh, like
There you
that.
go.
Can you hear him, Zach?
I can hear him. Yeah.
Yeah. And everyone listening, Steve McKenzie, who filled in, and will publicly thank Steve McKenzie for all of his hard work while I was away. You've now missed this.
Problem.
We're an hour 45 in, and I got all my Florida stories out live before the firing of Shawn Burke. So,
Oh, wow.
yeah, which is good timing. So now we're talking about that. So I'm sure you have some thoughts on it as well. But you're at the ballpark at the Titans right now. Is it their last regular season home game?
It is not. They
No.
have 3 more after this.
Okay.
They are currently they're about an hour behind due to weather, although it's a beautiful day here now. They're down 14-8 going into the 6th.
What? Is this a football game?
You think so? So far so good. You know, they got lit up there. The guy, the starting pitcher today had been perfect all year, minus 2 games that he had unable to finish due to weather. And he got lit up today, though today was not his day.
14-8.
So
We're guessing so. Yeah.
Yeah, right. So although all 14 weren't on him,
No.
but 10 were. So
No. Jeez.
it's the end of a 6th game against the Mississippi Mud Monsters.
You know what? When you play the Mississippi Mud Monsters, there's just only so much you can do.
Right?
Yeah, that's
They've done their homework on this fella,
yeah.
but
So quickly,
it's
very quickly before we let you go here, because through the phone it's not as exciting for the viewers and the listeners, but we can hear you.
No.
What are your quick thoughts on the fact that now in a 6-day span, the Ottawa REDBLACKS have removed Adrian Sierra, the president of the REDBLACKS, and now the firing of Shawn Burke, the vice president of the Ottawa REDBLACKS. They've removed both of those gentlemen in the hierarchy. What are your thoughts on the announcement, especially today with Shawn Burke?
Well, I feel like this was sort of inevitable. I think it's ultimately the Burke firing is more sort of has more to do with makes more sense than the Adrian Sierra firing. Ultimately, this is the team that Burke put together, and this is the hill that he unfortunately is now for lack of better terms going out on. It had to. I don't see if they're serious about making change, which they have said they are. I feel like this is inevitable. This had to be done. I mean, you hate to see anyone out of work. But, it was always professional and great as far as a personal level dealing with me. But I think at this point in the season, with the way that the state of the team is in, I don't know how you don't. If you're serious about real change, this is something that unfortunately had to be done.
Yeah, I don't.
This is they've dug themselves quite the hole, and this is not going to be an easy fix. And I don't see how, for lack of better terms, the architect of this current roster, or most of it, I don't think he's going to be the guy to fix it.
Right.
So, and better now, if you're going to do it, might as well do it now and get a search underway as quickly as possible.
Yeah, I think the part here that REDBLACKS fans, I guess, happy is the wrong word, but the fact that they've taken away both of the jobs from the president and the vice president shows that at least they're making change. To me, the question now becomes, whoever you bring in, they've cleared one of the paths that they can probably hire their own vice president. That is an assumption, but they've cleared the way that they're not going to be saddled with somebody else that they didn't hire. But then the question becomes, do they have autonomy and what is the status of Ryan Dinwiddie as the general manager and the head coach, with both of the people who were involved in bringing Ryan Dinwiddie in now gone. So that's got to be the
question.
Yeah.
That is something to really think about, because time will tell, obviously, not to be cliche, but it's going to depend on who they bring in. Again, I think with what Dinwiddie had to work with, I don't want to say too much because I don't know the plans from here. I'd like to know who they're going to bring in, and I don't think. I mean, I guess you could just completely clear house, but I don't know. I don't see the benefit of getting rid of Dinwiddie right now either.
Right.
Unless, I think obviously he's going to finish the year. Now from there, who knows? I just don't see, because especially right now to change the head coach and everything, I don't see the benefit of that.
Yeah, and he's got 2 more years left, and that money is on a cap. So if you let him go, then do you have enough money to bring somebody else in anyway? I think those are the questions. But nice cameo.
I'd say probably not.
Yeah, well, that's it, right? So nice cameo appearance here for Steve McKenzie on the live This is OSN broadcast. You'll have to listen for the first hour to catch up on some of the Florida stories, the driving, having a gun pulled in the parking lot of the establishment that I was at, couldn't leave.
That's what you get for partying on the wrong side of the tracks.
Well, I thought it was. I thought it was the right side of the tracks, but apparently not. But did I win music? Did I win music trivia? That's the question that you'll have to go back and listen to find out.
Well, I have a drive home from here to get caught up.
Well,
maybe I will swing by the palatial estates to get,
Well, you can swing by the palatial estates and see the half-cut lawn. Or no, sorry, that's that's mean. Because Chris probably did more than some other people who slept here, not you. But that's okay. Hey, listen, I'm cranky today, and I'm kind of throwing everyone under the bus, but all in a fun way, right? Like, tell us some stories, and like I've crapped on Zach for a long time here, so
maybe he appreciates this the cameo.
Well, here's my he probably does, but
yes, I do.
Some of my problem is that I decided yesterday on a 12 or 13 hour drive that I was going to listen to all the OSN stuff that I missed. What a mistake! What a mistake that was.
All of it had my voice on it too. So.
Yeah, and whether it was Steve McKenzie or Tanner Ryle or whatever, there was one constant: Zach McGibbon. Holy moly! Anyway, thanks for the cameo appearance. Enjoy the rest of the Titans game, and stop in at the palatial estates anytime you would like.
I will, for sure.
Okay.
See you in a bit, boys. Enjoy the rest of the show. Thanks for having me on, and we'll see you soon.
There you go. There goes.
I love the grand exit there for Steve McKenzie as well.
See, I like doing that to people because you get their real reactions.
Yep.
He didn't. He's probably just calling me, hey, did you see the news or Shawn Burke? And he doesn't even know anything, right? Like,
right.
Oh, yeah, we're on the air, Steve.
Yeah, we're live, pal.
But he doesn't know that because he's at the Titans game because he's working.
That's right. He's doing all the stuff for OSN.
That's right. So, lot to go. By the way, before I crap all over you all the time, just a quick note. I also had a chance to read the latest article from Zach McGibbon.
Oh,
up on This is OSN. And this was fantastic. And you know what I liked about it? It was detailed. It was a length that I thought was appropriate for this type of site. I'm like, I don't need like some 3-line article. No, Zach gave me some good stuff in this article about the Belleville Senators and kind of reintroducing, like, you'll have to go to thisisosn.com to find it, but it was good stuff.
Thank you.
I haven't said anything to you about this. The biggest thing for me was that it was like, sometimes you start to read articles, you're like, okay, like they were there, it's over.
Yeah, and that's it.
Nope. I didn't get that with you. I got a good length and I got a good feel for what was going on in Belleville.
That was the hope. That was the goal. We had a good chat with the coach, Andrew Campbell, as well as
Please don't call him Soupy. Please don't ever call him Soupy.
Look, I'm just telling you, that's what they call him over there in Belleville.
I'm telling you, not acceptable on the OSN airwaves.
All right, good.
It's
good
lazy.
to know.
We'll come up. You know what we're gonna do? We're gonna come up with a new name. Like, is it Belsey?
Are you talking about the mascot name, or are you talking about the?
No, Andrew Campbell.
Oh, Andrew Campbell. No, Andrew Campbell's Soup. That David Bell was the previous coach, so you're thinking Belsey for David Bell.
I literally was taking Cam Bell. And trying to come up with a new name for him, because whatever name we're coming up with, it's going to stick, and it's not going to be some lazy soupy name.
Well, I'm just going to say Belsey was technically already taken because
I know that was a terrible example and an unfortunate coincidence from David Bell of the last one, because it didn't enter into my mind. What entered into my mind was his last name was Campbell, and like I don't like the soup thing, so Campy.
Well, I unfortunately, Lee, I think that's going to be tough to say for the next little bit, but I think
we'll just have a segment say unfortunately.
Lee. I think it's pretty stuck because just talking with people in the organization, they've been calling him Soupy quite a bit, or Soup. So I think that's
no. See, what you don't understand is that we have the power to change things. Okay, Zach.
I can try.
Just because footsie is that what
footy? Footsie? Different kind of show there, Lee. I'm not doing that. Footy, yes, David Foot.
Just because he's got a new nickname, footsie.
Oh God,
I know.
I'm gonna get a text later, and
we'll come up with something from Andrew Campbell, but it's not going to be soupy.
But all that to say, yes, there's an extensive article. I also happened to bump into Shawn McCauley, and your name was also brought up.
You know what? Shawn is one of my favorite people.
Yes.
Like, have you ever? I don't know how much you've interacted with Shawn, but the guy always has a smile on his face, like it's the best day that he's ever lived in the world.
Yeah.
And it's like, Shawn, it's not even possible for you to feel that way.
Yeah.
But man, does he come across that way? He's a hard-working guy.
Yeah.
He
travels all the way back and forth between Ottawa and Belleville a lot.
Yeah, like I have a ton of respect for Shawn McCauley and what he's able to do, because I believe he's a Carleton Place boy.
Yeah, well, it was funny. I was saying, doing the OSN stuff, and I was like, "Do you know Lee Versage?" He's like, "Lee Versage? I bump into him at the grocery store, Carleton's Place, all the time."
Yeah.
Like he was so, like his face lit up.
Okay.
Like, oh. So I was like, all right, of course. Like Lee Versage, even all the way over here in Belleville, like the name resonates for some people. Right?
Hey, when you're at the Independent, I think it's happened twice. Once I remember, twice.
Yep.
At the Independent here in Carleton Place.
Yep.
And it's like there's Shawn McCauley, and once he was with his wife, and you could tell, this has nothing to do with his wife.
Yeah.
Like they were in to just get a couple things and like go home, and I think maybe the parents were looking after the kid or like, and Shawn and I are blah blah blah, blah and she was not having like, Shawn, it's time to go.
We gotta go.
But
Shawn is willing to chat, and so I was very appreciative of Shawn taking the time. No, it was good. It was a good little town hall.
Good.
Obviously, all the stuff's in there, so I won't reiterate a lot. But there's a lot of questions. I think even with some Senators fans that are like, "Why isn't this guy called up?" Or what's kind of being looked at prospects wise. So there's a lot of those questions that I asked that you can read over at thisisosn.com right now.
We're gonna see at some point if I can get Shawn McCauley over to the Palatial Estates. I mean, he'll definitely come over. It's whether he can actually be allowed to come on.
Yes.
from his bosses and whatnot, because they do, they're pretty tight with some of the media that they, elect to do and elect not to do. And they don't want everybody, just going anywhere they want. But Shawn would come over here anyway. I'm sure he would be.
Just say hi,
Oh, to get out of the house for Shawn.
Yeah.
That's Sean McCauley, by the way. And we are talking Shawn Burke fired by the Ottawa REDBLACKS. But
Yeah.
Zach has a great article up on the Belleville Senators on thisisosn.com. And we are probably, oh God, I hate to say this, 2 weeks tops.
Whoa, all right.
From like full push out social media. You're going to be seeing a lot more of the OSN brand, the This Is Wrestling brand. I don't know. 2 weeks feels like at some point this better be out before the Cowboys play, because they're going to go 16-0 and they're going to 17-0.
That's
they're
right.
going to
17-0.
win the Super Bowl, never going to lose a game, and we got to be on for that.
Oh, the hype already. I was listening into a Cowboys radio station, 105.3 in Dallas, Texas.
Fantastic.
And one of the guys there, he's like, I know it's preseason, but
I know.
This is the best team I've seen since 2007. And I was like,
I know.
We're so back. The season's so back.
I know, but what real people would ask NFL fans, like 2007, the hell did they do in 2007?
That was the year that they went. That was the year after Romo fumbled the ball on the snap for the field goal. That was when they had the 1 year that Romo had a really good defense to work with.
I'm really, before this completely derails.
Yes.
I get so pissed off about the Romo fumble in Seattle because so many people don't understand the context of that. That, number one, their punter, who was the holder all year long, got hurt in that game. Romo had not held at all. Number two, they were down in that game and down. I'd have to go back and look at exactly where they started in their own end, but they drove like an 80-yard drive with 2.5 minutes to go to get to the point that they were going to kick an easy chip shot, game-winning field goal on the road in a playoff game in Seattle and move on to the next round. Like, they did everything right. And then Romo fumbled the snap.
Yep.
It's just.
That was the final year of Parcells, if I recall, too. So.
But I still, like, people can go back and say this team and that team. I know that Dez caught the ball. They changed the rule.
Yep.
Because
Dez caught that ball. Absolutely.
Right. And what they would have done after that, I don't know, but I feel like they would have done a lot. Yep. I feel like that year for the Cowboys is how a lot of baseball fans talk about the 94 Expos.
Yep.
That if the season didn't end, we would have, people say, Expos fans, we would have won the World Series. And it's like, do you know that though? But the season ended and they were the best team in baseball. And so I get it, why they were feeling that way.
And plus the dominoes that came after with the Expos, like with that lockout and just everything with the team afterwards, they never got back to that peak again. And so I get it.
All right, back to a little football here that the Red Blacks have fired Shawn Burke, the vice president of football operations, after relieving Adrian Sierra, the president, of his job just 5 or 6 days ago. And change is afloat. And of course, look, they're 0-10. They're on a 15-game losing streak. They've set the present day all-time mark for consecutive losses in a row. I don't know what you do but this, but at least they've done it. Right?
Yep.
At least they've done it. They've also, by the way, like, I think people have forgotten, they fired Will Fields, their defensive coordinator.
Mm-hmm.
They made a lot of changes so far. It hasn't translated onto the field, but like, they brought in a whole bunch of new people this year, and now so far this year, they fired their defensive coordinator and their vice president and their president.
Yeah.
I really don't know what more they're going to be able to do other than put an extensive search out. And I'm going to tell people this, and I don't care if people think it's biased. and I'll get this out on some reel, and people will see this a little bit more, but I am here to tell you that if the Red Blacks don't call James Ellingson, people know James Ellingson as Duke Ellingson.
Mhm.
If they don't call him, they are making a massive mistake. I'm not telling them to hire him, but to exclude him from a conversation, because this is what I know of James Duke Ellingson. James Duke Ellingson was a CFL pro and a Grey Cup champion as a wide receiver. He knows this game inside and out. In fact, he was a receiver for the Saskatchewan Roughriders in what people still call maybe the greatest Grey Cup game ever at the Sky Dome in Toronto in 1989. Saskatchewan and Hamilton. He has lived through lean years as a player with the Ottawa Roughriders. Some really bad years, including, I believe, making the playoffs at 4-14. He then went into media and hosted the afternoon show in 1999, in 2000, 2001, and understands from a media perspective what that is like. Since has been the general manager, the boss of major companies around North America and the world, including Schindler Elevator and Convergent Security Technologies. A massive amount of people under the watch and the eye of the general manager. Dealing with people, one of James Ellingson's greatest strengths. But he is an Ottawa guy through and through, has lived here his entire life since coming over in the early 90s to play with the Rough Riders, has lived here ever since. He has kids in the area. He has grandkids in the area. He's been the GM of two very, very successful major companies outside of the world of football, and has been on the pregame and postgame for the Ottawa REDBLACKS since the very beginning, and continues to be on. And yes, he's a contributor to the station, but more importantly, is one of the best human beings I know, and has his pulse on the literally at the center of what is going on in Ottawa, and has since the REDBLACKS came back. When you go down the checklist of people that would be qualified for a job, did he play football? Yes. Did he play football at a high level for a long time? Yes. He's a Grey Cup champion. Did he stay in this community? Does he understand what it's like to have fans go through crappy seasons? Yes. He completely understands that. Has he seen 1, 2, and 3 teams, from the Rough Riders to the Renegades to the REDBLACKS, come and go and be in some good times, but mostly bad times? Yes. Does he know how to manage people? Yes. Does he run successful companies? Yes. Tell me something that you'd be looking for in a candidate that James Duke Ellingson does not have. Football experience, major as a general manager running a company his whole life, lived through the crappy seasons in Ottawa as a player, as a fan, as a broadcaster, and continues to be a part of the broadcast to understand what is going on day in, day out since the very beginning, the inception of this franchise. When I go down the checklist of, is this person a football person? Check. Is this person somebody who understands the Ottawa market specifically? Check. Is this person capable of running companies? Check, check, check. And honestly, I know this probably won't matter to people who care about the football team, but just a great person who understands what it takes to be successful in multiple areas of life. If they don't call James Duke Ellingson to at least understand what he is capable of, they are making a mistake. And I'm sorry, I will be completely unbiased when I say that, or transparent, that is James Duke Ellingson a friend of mine? Yes, he is. Is he a contributor to OSN? Yes, but he's a contributor elsewhere as well. And this guy has all the qualifications and more. You don't want to hire him? Don't hire him. But if you're not talking to that guy, Zach, I just don't know how many people have the experience that James Duke Ellingson has in all areas of life to be the perfect candidate, to be the president of football operations for this team. He understands the suffering. He understands the fans. He understands what it takes to run companies. He understands football. He's been a player, a media person, a general manager. Like, this guy has been everything in life. How they're not talking to him, I don't know, and they better. They better. Again, people are capable of making their own decisions. But if you're not talking to somebody who, when you go down the checklist, has every single solitary thing that you are looking for, you are making a bad mistake. That is the end of my rant.
No, it was good. Sometimes you just gotta lay out and let it fly. I agree with you. I don't know Duke as well as you do, but all my experiences with Duke, my interactions, and just having listened to him on the radio before as well, like, and as you mentioned, his background, he was somebody I also mentioned where I was like, you gotta at least make the call and just see what the interest is there, if there's any interest. Obviously, at the end of the day, it's going to be up to Duke, and I don't want to speak for him, you or I, or about what he wants to do or whatnot, but if just purely looking at who to seek out and who to interview and try and get a better understanding of what's entitled for the role and who fits it best, to me, like, Duke Ellingson absolutely has to be on that list of people you at least make a phone call to and seek and understand if there's any interest in. So
how can you not talk to that guy? Like, since I've known him, he's literally been the general manager of either Schindler Elevator or Convergent Security Technologies. Big companies. He's the boss. He's the GM. He knows how to run things and manage people better than anyone I've ever met. And that's got nothing to do with his football side, that he was a player, that he won a Grey Cup, that he's lived in Ottawa since like 1991, since he's been a broadcaster as far as a pregame host, a postgame analyst, afternoon drive host. He's still on in the mornings on the station that has all the games.
Yes.
Whatever former station that was of mine.
It's tough to kind of come up with a name.
I can't remember
on the top. Yeah,
I can't remember, but whatever station is the only goddamn station in Ottawa that people listen to sports. He's still on that station all the time.
Yep.
You know why? Because he's really good at it. And not because he's really good at being a broadcaster. He's really good at understanding football. He's their NFL analyst because he's a football junkie. Crappy at golf, but man, good at so many other things.
See, that I was waiting for the lever, the little kidney blow where you're like, wait a minute, hold on.
And this is, I'll end it by saying, if you can come to me and say, hey, That's a great suggestion, Lee. But there are 5 other candidates that have more on their resume than he does. And we're going to interview them. Okay, cool, man. Like that's your job. I don't know one candidate that's got more on his resume. There are people that have bigger name recognition. Again, there's somebody in Calgary right now with the Dinos that's doing some 10-day kind of coaching, learning thing with the University of Calgary and Henry Burris. Henry Burris has got more cachet than anybody in this town. So there are people that have more cachet than Duke Ellingson. He wouldn't be offended at me saying that. Of course, if Henry Burris came in and was the president, said, don't worry, folks, I'm going to save the day. Problem solved.
Yep.
Right? Like, whether he can actually solve the problem or not, people will give him the opportunity to solve the problem. But from an actual working experience in both football and life, I just don't know how many people have that Ottawa connection through and through that also have the things on their resume as being a GM of 2 major companies and being a broadcaster and their finger on the pulse and a player and going through bad times in Ottawa and understand more than anything what the suffering has been like for these fans. How can you not make the call? Look who's here. A couple hours late.
Better late than never. I think he joined in the middle.
In the middle of the rant. So was I talking Bunda? No. No. He says rant forever. Nice to have you, Rich. Rich, go back when this podcast comes out and listen to the first hour of my trip to Florida. Literally an hour on guns being pulled.
Yep.
Music trivia, hellacious rainstorms. I don't know.
And that was just a Friday. No, it was
exactly.
a couple of days.
Exactly. I'm very glad that I was going to go to the NASCAR race in New Hampshire today and come home at like 2:00 in the morning and then get up and go to work.
Yep.
I'm so glad. So glad I didn't. I mean, I was the last hour after crossing the border last night was like, oh my God, please just let me get home. But
yeah.
Also, I didn't even tell you I went to Hobby Lobby.
No, you didn't. You mentioned.
Do you even know what Hobby Lobby is?
The name sounds familiar, but
Rich says, I bet you'd rather have guns pulled on you than deal with 15 plus grade school kids inside your house for a birthday party. Oh, Rich. I never said a gun was pulled on me. I did not say that. And that did not happen.
Just guns pulled. Yeah.
Well, pulled, showed enough,
threatened
enough for a lot of police to come in and surround where my car was. And I could not get out.
Box cutters as well.
Yeah, so there's lots going on there. But, oh, Zach, Hobby Lobby. It's not what it sounds like. I need people to understand this if you're listening. I thought Hobby Lobby, when it was first described to me, was basically like going to Michael's. I walk in Michael's, and about 2 minutes later, I want out of Michael's. That's just who I am. And I get it. It's for some people, obviously. All the yarn and the painting and all the things you'd want for your hobbies. So Hobby Lobby, the title kind of threw me. But it does have some of that stuff, but it is way more like I call it a Home Sense on steroids at a quarter of the price. That I can get into. Did I buy a clock? Yes, I did.
There you go.
Did I have a tree, and I know that you've seen it probably at some point, but I got a little bit lazy this year. I wouldn't call it lazy. I'm saying like I'm trying to I have a Christmas tree that I've turned into a seasonal tree. So the tree now in the summer has all kinds of beach stuff on it. Whether it's, silver dollar or sand dollars or starfish or sunglasses, or it's very beachy. But I'm looking to make it a fall tree. So I did get a lot of things at Hobby Lobby to put on the fall tree, especially sporting. I got a bunch of, I guess, for lack of a better term, Christmas tree ornaments, but they're all sport related.
Nice.
Like really good quality. I got a pickleball player. Like it's actually like a pickle with a pickleball thing in hand. And
I see.
like, it's outstanding. Outstanding.
I love it.
Yeah. I got a good quality baseball and a football and a golf bag and all sorts of different little ornaments to put on the tree. Love Hobby Lobby though. I was tired last night. I'm like, am I really going to stop at Hobby Lobby in Watertown on the way? Yes, I am. Yep. Make the trip. Did a Hobby Lobby run with my aunt down in Florida as well, but I didn't want to get a whole bunch of stuff to put in the car that I, was going to transport all the way back. And
right.
Trader Joe's is another one. Fantastic.
Yes.
Grocery store, but kind of a nutritional store, but cheap prices, great stuff. Just difficult to get to in Canada. Closest one's in Syracuse. Not even in Watertown. So yeah, big trip, Rich. So lots to talk about in the first hour.
Yes.
All right. So how do we feel, Zach? I didn't even get to, and this is the whole point. I don't want to get to it now. We're 2 hours and I'm going to save this for another time to, tear into you and Tanner and Mackenzie and all those guys. I feel like you got saved by this breaking news.
The Shawn Burke news certainly. I was getting ready. I was getting ready for my on-air check, and I was like, all right, let's hear what the boss has to say. And after a week, and
the good news is you're going to get it in full and not at the very end of a 2 hour and 22-minute show after we did an hour and 15 hour 20 of WWE Unreal.
Yeah. Oh, I think even longer than that.
Yeah. So we did an hour and a half of that. Now we're 2 hours and 20 minutes of this. So
yeah, we should, since Rich is here and he's a wrestling fan, should probably update as well. Just our plans for this week when it comes to the wrestling side of things.
Oh, Rich, are you going tomorrow night?
I think he messaged the Facebook page over the weekend. I believe he said that he is going to be going. He was asking if what sort of presents, if we had any over there. And
okay, so I know at least myself, Tanner, Ethan, Gord St. Dennis are going. I know Le Champion is like too busy to hang out with, the plebeians like us, because he's in charge of one of the merch stands tomorrow night.
Yep.
So he'll be going in early and he'll be there all day. Again, it's a Raw and SmackDown taping, so they're going to do Raw live and SmackDown taped. So everyone will be there. Rich says, yes, sir. We're headed there in 2 cars. Fantastic. Rich has my number. Rich, you text me. I will be there. We will definitely meet up. I got to meet your wife and who puts up with you. I think that's more like, does she know that you listen to us while you're watching a movie? And also, after the answer is yes, does she listen to something else that she's listening to and you both don't care? Like, I think that's actually the best case scenario. So at least myself, Tanner, Ethan, and Gord St. Dennis will be there. I don't know. I think our, unfortunately, I'll call him our elite guy. He loves the elite, so he likes to pretend to be elite.
I see.
You know who I'm talking about. Where are we going for All In?
Well, we're going over to the Sub's house.
So I think he's only going to go if there's a suite.
Oh, he just has these demands.
I'm like, dude, we're trying to get a suite, but like, come on. But I think the interest is that he can bring his daughter and he can kind of have a little bit more room to deal with things. He's not a big WWE fan, so. Stardust Tesla says, I'll be there, but you can't
wave at me.
Why?
Because we don't know what he looks like.
But this is the time.
Yeah.
Stardust Tesla, where are we meeting you? I want to meet you.
Yes.
Stop. Yeah, like Rich says, that's not even how you do it, Stardust. Like, if you're going to do it properly.
Yes. But you might notice in what Lee's saying too. Oh,
by the way, the wife won't be there. All right. Well, we can't ask her this time, but
yes.
Stardust Tesla, we expect to meet you tomorrow night.
But you might notice what Lee was saying there is like Lee and Tanner and Ethan and Gord, all these people coming in, but my name is not listed in
No,
that,
it's not.
Unfortunately. So
you're the smartest guy in the room right now.
Plans changed, Lee. So initially I was doing the talk show locally here in Belleville for about 3 days, Wednesday to Friday. Funny enough, I was scheduled. So I'll come down. I'll say hi and come down for the double taping. Things have changed to where, as people know, the municipal election coming up all across Ontario, and Belleville and Quinte West and Prince Edward County are no different.
This is actually hilarious, folks. Please listen to what he's going to say.
So initially I would just do the Wednesday to Friday, but my boss and my boss's boss have both decided to run in the election.
Like, what? Your boss and your boss's boss are both running in the election. So they use their public forum to get everyone to love them. And then they go, oh, look, we're going to be unbiased. We're going to not be on the air.
Yes.
So we're going to make the schleps like Zach McGibbon do the show while we go out and run, because we've gotten all of our popularity out from being on the show, but now we're going to let Zach go and do it. And now Zach is going to go on the show. And I'm guessing because Zach has a moral compass, he's going to slam both of those guys.
Yes. I'll be pounding the desk. I'll be like, can you believe I've been put in this situation?
No, but like some of the stuff they're running on, you're going to take them to task. I know you are.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I look, so it's interesting because so my boss's boss, it's not surprising because he is a local counselor, so he's technically running for re-election.
Okay.
My boss running is a bit of, it shouldn't, like, if you look at his history, it's not that surprising, but it is surprising just at this time. So
hilarious.
So yeah, both of the people that are able to do the talk show are unavailable. And so you go down the depth chart and there I am, third stringer, just throwing the ball on the sideline, waiting to get warmed up. Maybe I have my headset on and just staring off. Now they're going to have to throw me in. And for the first time, I'm doing a full week of the talk show.
All right.
So because of that, I'm not able to go down. I would love to. I really do. I want to go see the Stardust Teslas and the Riches. And of course, you, Lee Versage and Tanner, and Gord and Ethan. Like I will gladly like wanted to see those, but duty calls in this scenario. So since I didn't announce I'm running for the municipal election, I am the last person.
Which you should at some point, right?
You know what? You're not the first person that said that. I'm like, why do people think I would be
because you're very
like,
no, but you're very like accepting. You've accepted me for 7 years, which feels like,
you know what, when you put it that way,
more than enough resume for
that
anybody.
Should be my campaign if I were to campaign. I was like able to do this for 7 years and not complain.
Exactly. No, you'd make a good counselor. You get crap done too.
Yes. The thing is you're not the first person that said it, and because there's a bunch of people at the radio stations like, well, it's bound to happen to you. Like, and I'm like,
I mean, it just gets passed down.
It just gets passed down. Apparently, I have no plans whatsoever.
Okay.
No aspirations. I much rather like doing this, where I'm just being like, I can't believe they didn't do this. Why can't they do this? Be in my little, chair or whatever with a microphone in front. So.
Well, again, we are going to be pushing out in the next couple of weeks, much harder than we have, and you're going to hear a lot more of the OSN brand. So I think that's exciting. It's football season coming up, NFL season. Obviously, the Sens are going to get on the ice, and there's a lot of good stuff coming up, which is awesome. But yeah, you're doing the talk show, so we'll be there. Stardust Tesla says, "Don't make me lay you out with the rock bottom like CVV." Yeah, look, that one worked out for CVV because it was timed perfectly, the jump.
Yep.
But yeah, I don't have a lot of faith. Don't have a lot of faith in that. But yeah, we'll be there tomorrow night. And if we have a suite, we'll just invite everyone up there.
Yes.
So
we are here, come on.
We are kind of on watch right now because it's a possibility that we might get a suite, but we don't know for sure. So until then, we'll definitely be there. And then I think our focus does change a little bit as we go through the week because I'm starting to get really excited. I think at least right now, the possibility of the AEW All In show next Sunday afternoon has the possibility of being one of the greatest shows of all time.
That card is just looking awesome right now.
Like, it legitimately does. Now, again, you don't know whether these things work out or not because when it comes time, we'll see. But, I mean, Omega Ospreay at the top of it at Wembley is going to be like off the charts. You're going to get, for the international title, you're going to get Fletcher and Okada and Takeshita. It's going to be incredible. Like, that match is going to be incredible.
Yep.
I think MJF and Andrade is going to be really, really great.
Yep. Well, they're part of that casino gauntlet, right? So that will be interesting how they play that out. Yeah,
at the beginning, right?
Yep.
So they're going to be a part of that. You're going to get, you're going to have Cope and Cage against the Young Bucks. Most likely, you're going to have Brodito and Hangman against Swerve and the New Day.
That will be cool. You got Mercedes and Willow as well.
Mercedes and Willow. Even on the pre-show, Brawling Birds and Divine Dominion should be all right. They've just done a lot of things here.
And it looks like we might get Mox and Nigel McGuinness for the Continental Championship.
Oh, yeah. We'll find out in the semifinals coming up, but we got Mox and Claudio, Nigel, and Kyle O'Reilly. So, yeah, it certainly looks to me like it would be Nigel and Mox at Wembley, which would be amazing. And who knows if we get the New Day, who knows if we get other surprises. But I legitimately feel like it could be one of the best cards of all time. Now they have to execute, and we'll see if they're able to. But I'm as excited about a wrestling card as I've been in a very, very long time for next Sunday afternoon. Leading right in, Zach, to the next Red Blacks game.
The highs and lows.
Yeah. Rich says, I was so hoping we get hardstyle chaos in Ottawa when their promo started on SmackDown, but it's not likely by the sounds at the end of the promo. Did you guys see that reveal yet?
I saw the I saw the promo there for all of a sudden I should know the former New Japan junior heavyweight that's going to tag with
Shinsuke?
Yeah, with Nakamura. Takahashi. Yeah. But he's got a new name, of course he does, and it's like You know, you thought Naraku was lighting the world on fire. He had something else that's named for him. I was like, of course, I'm pretty sure WWE just went through their list of names that they have. Kiyoki. I'm like, oh, that's a very brilliant original name, Kiyoki, for Hiromu Takahashi. So that's the one. I guess that is the one that Rich is talking about. So I did see that debut. You know, the name's like, it's the name at this point. Like, I can't. Ever since the Gunter name change, I've just been like, they're just gonna do their whole thing at this point. Or Pete Dunne being named Butch. You know, just stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I am excited to what the all-in card can be. We just went through 7 or 8 matches.
Yep.
Plus the Casino Gauntlet, as you said, with MJF and Andrade in it. Who actually wins that, we'll see. But I'm very excited about that. And then the Red Blacks play next Sunday. Well, I appreciate the effort today, Zach. You've been around for a long time. We'll be putting out our final episode of Unreal.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah.
Thank God it's done. That'll be coming out very soon.
It will. And then people can check out this. And then during the week, we'll have some stuff leading up to All In for sure. And we'll also have a review, right? Because tomorrow night, that's crazy to me. That's tomorrow night. I know I just got back, but it's like Raw and SmackDown are happening tomorrow.
Yeah. In Ottawa. It's insane.
Yeah. Like from the Palatial Estates, like 14 minutes down the road.
Yeah.
So, and yes, Stardust Tesla. Yes, Zach will be covering this.
No. I am no.
You can't miss this show and then not, like, you got to have some responsibility. So NXT and Gatineau.
Somebody else could go do that. I feel like they would do a tremendous job. When I saw that shared in, I'm like, you know what? You guys go have fun with that. I'm glad you guys will have a fun time with NXT and Gatineau. I'm sure I'll read all the reports and I'm sure it'll be all fun and all that. But that's for whoever is taking care of the Gatineau show. Similar to season 4 of WWE Unreal. Like Lee, you can take care of season 4 of Unreal.
No, you keep saying this publicly. You're not off that beat. I'll give you the NXT one. Stardust Tesla says he wants it to be him. Well, then you're going to have to meet me tomorrow. You're going to have to at least, some qualifications to go cover the NXT show in Gatineau for us.
Yes. We know about your C4 background, which is a good start. So, but as he continues, is he the decoy mask guy like Triple H? Is Stardust Tesla our decoy mask guy right now?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Oh.
It's a good point. Okay, so that's going to do it for us for right now. But we'll be back. And again, we're having some big meetings this week as far as like social media. Next week, some big like overall meetings, and OSN will be a little bit more in people's faces in the next couple of weeks.
Yep.
So, yeah. Thanks, Stardust Tesla. Black sweatshirt. That won't help. That won't help tomorrow at all.
Yeah. You mean you're gonna wear something black in the crowd of wrestling fans? That's unheard of. Totally unheard of.
As Rich says, no more black hoodies. Agreed. Stardust Tesla, just make a time that you want to meet, and we'll meet at the merch stand with Le Champion running it. By the way, I don't want to brag, but I've seen some of the merch ready for tomorrow night.
I've heard good things. I know that I've been alluded to what's coming up, but I think people will be happy with that for the merch. No?
They always do like a couple of shirts and stuff that have to do with, like, one they bleed with the Senators, and then one they bleed with Ottawa.
Yep.
One of them's okay. There's a couple of them that are super bad.
Yeah.
I'm sorry if Le Champion is still listening, but they're super bad. But if people buy them, then good. I hope
you better believe people will be buying them.
Le Champion sells them, and that's all that matters.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, Zach. Appreciate it. And
you.
unfortunately, I mean, it was good. We're in the middle of, like I said, some news earlier that Shawn Burke fired by the Ottawa REDBLACKS as vice president of football operations 6 days after they removed Adrian Sierra, the president. And we're on just live, happened to be talking during it.
Yep.
So I guess decent for us. And again, if you missed the beginning of the show, go back and listen to it. Literally the first hour is about my trip.
Yep.
But it's good to be back in the palatial estates. So thanks, Zach. And we'll definitely be talking to you. I might have to drag one of the others in for the review as well. We'll see.
Yep.
And that's, I hope they do SmackDown before Raw.
Okay.
I hope. I know it's early. Like, I think doors open at 4:30 or something.
Yeah, it's something. It's earlier in the afternoon for sure.
Get there at 5 or like the show starts at 6, I think.
Yeah, 5:30 p.m. is what I have up here.
But the show starts at 5:30?
Yeah, event starts at 5:30 is what I have here.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Because all I can picture is what am I doing at 9:30? And it's like losing my
Le Champion's saying Raw is first at 6 confirmed is what he's saying.
So Raw is live at 6.
Yeah.
And then they're going to tape SmackDown.
Let's talk about selling air when you go see him.
Oh, Le Champion could sell you anything.
Yes.
Right? Like
yep.
he'd sell me like swampland in Florida. He's good, man.
Yeah.
Well, okay, Raw's live at 6. Just ask me what I'm doing at 9:30 and ask me if I'm still there. Like,
I might text you for a status update and see how it goes.
I can tell you that suite better be coming. I don't know if I'll make it in just the cram seats for like another 4 hours of like, oh, good, here comes Austin Theory again, or like
Solo Sikoa. He's a fun guy.
No, he's not.
He is again.
All right, we're gonna end, but we appreciate people being with us. Thank you very much. And unfortunately for Shawn Burke, not a great day for him, but it's been a difficult time for the Ottawa REDBLACKS. We'll have that other Unreal WWE Season 3, Episode 5, the last episode. We'll have that come out very soon as well. And it's a big week from the Raw SmackDown reviews, and looking forward to All In coming up. And as I continually say, OSN going to be doing more and more and more here in the next few weeks. So thank you very much, Zach McGibbon. Appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.
And thank you all for listening. For Zach McGibbon, I'm Lee Versage. Thanks for being a part of another live episode here on OSN.